Chapter 630. How can this be? Following a cracking sound, the ancient seal in the red-haired old man's hand shattered with a loud bang. The red-haired old man was horrified, and could not believe what he had seen. He had killed the guardian spirit of the ancient kingdom with just a tap of his finger. Even an ancient Emperor Realm Senior would not be able to do such a thing, unless he knew the secrets of the ancient kingdom like the back of his hand. As the guardian spirit of the ancient kingdom was killed, the mighty aura of a late-stage ancient emperor disappeared. The people of the seven-star ancient kingdom, whose morale had been high, were shocked and confused. They did not know what had happened. Rumble. Qin Yu did not give the people of the seven-star ancient kingdom any time to react. He suddenly rushed out, and the sky was filled with lightning, like a torrent of lightning. Within the violent lightning, there was a destructive dragon aura surging. Kill. When the red-haired old man saw this, he knew that a battle was unavoidable. Naturally, he would not sit still and wait for his death. He roared and rushed towards Qin Yu with the emperor weapon in his hand. The other martial artists of the seven-star ancient kingdom also rushed out, their killing intent soaring to the sky. Of course, the main battle force was focused on Qin Yu. The people of the sacred dragon sect only had a few divine emperors. They did not even have an ancient emperor. Naturally, they did not take them seriously. On the other hand, Qin Yu gave them an extremely dangerous feeling. They had to get rid of him as soon as possible. 9 Heavens Dragon Domination. Accompanied by a loud dragon roar that shook the soul, the lightning dragon aura around Qin Yu suddenly turned into ferocious and terrifying lightning dragons. The lightning dragons roared and wreaked havoc, rushing into the midst of the martial artists of the seven-star ancient kingdom. Each of the violent lightning dragons contained boundless killing intent. This was the killing intent that Qin Yu had infused into the extermination deity painting, and its power was boundless. In an instant, thousands of martial artists of the seven-star ancient kingdom were killed by the lightning dragons. Only those who had reached the ancient emperor realm could withstand the power of the lightning dragon. Die. The red-haired old man, who was staring at Qin Yu, condensed endless Dao technique. The emperor weapon in his hand turned into a beam of divine light that tore through the void, as if to pierce through Qin Yu in one fell swoop. Seeing this, Qin Yu simply opened his right hand, and a 3-headed, 6-armed demonic figure appeared in his palm. It was the ancestor devil statue. The red-haired old man's all-out killing move dissipated the moment it touched the ancestral devil statue, and did not cause any harm to Qin Yu. Roar. Almost at this moment, Qin Yu suddenly struck out with his palm. The ancestral demon golem abruptly enlarged, imprisoning the red-haired old man. In the blink of an eye, the red-haired old man's berserk Dao technique fluctuations within the ancestral devil statue disappeared. When Qin Yu withdrew the primogenitor devil statue, the red-haired old man's soul had already scattered, and there was not the slightest trace of life left in him. He's the demonic cultivator ancient emperor of the spiritual state. At this moment, a seven-star ancient emperor who had attacked Qin Yu's side was shocked when he saw the appearance of the ancestral devil statue. Qin Yu's eyes flashed. It seemed that the seven-star ancient kingdom also knew about the battle with the Scarlet Moon's sovereign emperor back then. Whoosh! Qin Yu did not waste any time. He suddenly waved his right hand, and vast lightning filled with killing intent instantly enveloped the ancient emperor. With Qin Yu's means, early-stage ancient emperors were not much different from divine emperors in his hands. Even mid-stage ancient emperors were not Qin Yu's match. However, Qin Yu did not want to expose the 9 esoteric battle dragons and the dragon race's mystiques, so he borrowed the power of the ancestral devil statue. Immediately after, Qin Yu was like a god of death descending upon the world. With thunderous means, he cleanly killed the other ancient emperors of the seven-star ancient kingdom. Not long after, the top fighting forces of the seven-star ancient kingdom were all killed, leaving only a few divine emperors behind. Qin Yu did not make the first move and left it to the sacred dragon sect. Qin Yu's figure flashed as he entered the imperial city of the seven-star ancient kingdom. The seven-star ancient kingdom was about to be destroyed, but old man Qing Ming still had not appeared. This made Qin Yu feel that it was strange, so he decided to check it out. Moreover, there was something Qin Yu wanted in the imperial city of the seven-star ancient kingdom. Relying on the information from the seven-star ancient emperor's memories, Qin Yu directly entered the depths of the imperial city. Not long after, Qin Yu appeared before a black fog. Within the black fog, there were countless unique auras that were faintly discernible. Are they all guardian spirits? Qin Yu sensed for a while before stepping into the black fog. Within the black fog there was an ancient tower. The ancient tower had a total of 99 levels, and each level was 100 feet apart. It was magnificent and vast. Whoosh! Qin Yu lifted his head to take a look. With a stomp on the ground, he quickly rose into the sky and appeared at the top of the tower. With a punch, the restrictions around the ancient tower were shattered, and Qin Yu entered the ancient tower. Who dares to barge into my tribe's forbidden ground? When Qin Yu destroyed the ancient tower's restrictions, an old and dignified voice sounded. Immediately after, a figure in green robes appeared in front of Qin Yu, blocking Qin Yu's path. This person in green robes was the younger brother of the seven-star ancient emperor, Sovereign Qing Ming. Looking at Qin Yu, Sovereign Qing Ming's gaze was as sharp as a knife, but his face was not looking good. This place was their tribe's forbidden ground. In the past, other than the seven-star ancient emperor, even Sovereign Qing Ming could not step into this place. Now Qin Yu, an outsider, had actually infiltrated this place. Needless to say, something big must have happened in the seven-star ancient kingdom. Old man Qing Ming, long time no see. After Qin Yu sized up the Emperor Qing Ming for a while, his eyes displayed a flash of understanding. No wonder Sovereign Qing Ming did not appear when the seven-star ancient kingdom was facing destruction. He had been hiding here, trying to break through to the late ancient emperor realm. However, looking at the chaotic aura on his body, it did not seem to be going well. You recognize me? Hearing this, Emperor Qing Ming looked at Qin Yu with bewilderment. As an ancient emperor, Emperor Qing Ming had already developed a photographic memory. However, the Qin Yu in front of him left him with no recollection at all. However, since Qin Yu had addressed him as Old Man Qing Ming, it was obvious that he had seen him before. Of course I recognize you. Back in the Immortal God graveyard, I was tricked by you brothers. Qin Yu's face turned cold. He changed his appearance to that of the Dragon God Emperor from his previous life. You impossible! How can you still be alive? This is absolutely impossible. Seeing that Qin Yu had revealed his true strength, Emperor Qing Ming's pupils shrank to the size of needles. He retreated continuously and stared at Qin Yu with an extremely frightened expression. The Dragon God Emperor was an invincible existence that even the emperors of the heaven region feared. Although thousands of years had passed, the memory of Qin Yu fighting against hundreds of people at the Immortal God graveyard was still fresh in Sovereign Qing Ming's mind. Die! Seeing that Sovereign Qing Ming's mind was in chaos, Qin Yu suddenly made his move. Cyan dragon scales covered his entire body, and a majestic dragon's aura swept out. He executed the Dragon Clan's secret technique to kill Sovereign Qing Ming. Tribute Spirit Fuse. Sovereign Qing Ming snapped out of his daze when he sensed the familiar Tao ripples from Qin Yu. No matter how much he could not believe it, he knew that Qin Yu was indeed the Dragon God Emperor from thousands of years ago. Looks could be changed, but the Tao ripples of the ancient Emperor realm could not be exactly the same. Chapter 631. Rumble. Immediately, as Qing Ming's sovereign emperor unleashed his ultimate move, the towering pagoda shook violently. Countless terrifying auras appeared and shot up into the sky. They were like ancient beasts that had been slumbering for countless years that had awakened at this moment. In an instant, countless illusory tribute spirits that were glowing like souls fused into Qing Ming's sovereign emperor's body. Qing Ming's sovereign emperor's aura was in a mess because he was trying to break through to the later stage of the ancient emperor realm. At this moment, he was like a volcano that could explode at any time. The fluctuations were so strong that it made one's heart tremble. However, thanks to the tribute spirits, Qing Ming's sovereign emperor's combat strength soared. Qin Yu's secret skill of the dragon tribe was neutralized by him. Ha ha ha, Dragon God Sovereign Emperor, although I don't know how you survived back then, you are just an early-stage ancient emperor now. Even if you use your secret skill, you are nothing to be afraid of. As the tribute spirits of the ancient kingdoms fused, Qing Ming's sovereign emperor's face became distorted. His eyes were filled with madness, as though his consciousness had been greatly affected. Die! The incomparably berserk Emperor Qing Ming directly attacked Qin Yu. His berserk destruction Dao technique swept forth, capable of destroying and suppressing the heavens and earth. Heh, a frog at the bottom of a well, Qin Yu sneered. His body shone with dazzling green light, and the dragon's might that he exuded became even more terrifying. Then, Qin Yu formed a seal with his hands. In his palms, countless divine lights gathered and evolved, forming an ancient dragon head seal. It was the devouring heavens dragon seal. Roar! With a deafening dragon roar, the devouring heavens dragon seal grew to 1,000 feet in size. It was ferocious and terrifying. It devoured Qing Ming's sovereign emperor's Dao skill attack. Boom! Boom! However, Qing Ming's sovereign emperor, who had fused with the tribute spirits of the seven-star ancient kingdoms, was still alive and was stubbornly resisting. A cold light flashed in Qin Yu's eyes. He took out the immortal extermination ancient diagram and sent the devouring heavens dragon seal into it. Boom! The sky-devouring dragon seal was shattered by the murderous intent of the immortal extermination ancient diagram. Sovereign Qing Ming appeared, but before he could do anything, the murderous intent of the immortal extermination ancient diagram swept across the area. In an instant, Sovereign Qing Ming was reduced to ashes. After killing Sovereign Qing Ming, Qin Yu began to wander around the ancient pagoda. According to the memories of the seven-star ancient emperor, this ancient pagoda was where all the emperors of the seven-star ancient kingdom kept their treasures. Even seven-star ancient emperors had kept their treasures in this ancient pagoda. Qin Yu walked around the ancient pagoda. After breaking through countless restrictions, he arrived at the core of the ancient pagoda. Just as the seven-star ancient emperor had mentioned, there were countless strange treasures there. However, Qin Yu didn't really care about those fluctuations. What he really wanted was, found it. When Qin Yu was checking those treasures one by one and recklessly putting them away, his expression was shaken. A ray of light flashed through his eyes. At this moment, a vibrating sound came out from the spatial ring, accompanied by a familiar fluctuation that resonated with him. Ancient Immortal Token. Qin Yu flipped his right hand, and an item appeared in his hand. It was the ancient Immortal Token that the Blood Demon had given him. This ancient Immortal Token could sense the location of other ancient Immortal Tokens. The reason why Qin Yu came to this ancient pagoda was because he sensed the existence of the ancient Immortal Token in the seven-star ancient kingdom. However, Qin Yu couldn't sense the exact location of the ancient Immortal Token after arriving at this ancient pagoda. Only now did Qin Yu feel the fluctuation of the ancient Immortal Token when he looked at the ancient box covered with countless ancient seals. After breaking the restrictions, he opened the box. There was an ancient Immortal Token in the box. There were 8 ancient Immortal Tokens. Qin Yu had obtained the ancient Immortal Token from the sky-suppressing Ghost Emperor, the most important one from the Blood Demon, and the other from the Blood Sacrifice Dynasty. Now, with this one, Qin Yu had obtained half of the ancient Immortal Tokens. As for the other 4 ancient Immortal Tokens, one was known to be in the hands of Xing Luo and Xing Luo. 2 of the ancient Immortal Tokens were in constant movement, and the last one remained the same. If what the blood demon had said was true, that he could enter the core of the immortal treasure by gathering all 8 ancient immortal tokens, then Qin Yu had to obtain the remaining ancient immortal tokens. Qin Yu hadn't discovered the secret of the immemorial fighting dragon skill in his previous life. However, he had discovered it in this life. The immemorial fighting dragon skill alone could suppress the power of an ancient immortal. This was enough to prove that the immemorial fighting dragon skill was definitely an immortal cultivation skill. Of course, there must be an even bigger secret hidden in the immortal treasure. Qin Yu even suspected that Xing Luo's attack on him had something to do with the immortal treasure. After obtaining the ancient immortal token and sweeping through all the treasures in the ancient pagoda, Qin Yu left the ancient pagoda. Now, the 7-star ancient pagoda was completely destroyed. From now on, the sacred dragon sect would become one of the top forces in the East Continent. However, the top forces in the East Continent would also have their eyes on the sacred dragon sect. The sacred dragon sect could be said to have replaced the 7-star ancient pagoda's position. However, they didn't have a late ancient emperor expert to hold the fort. Regardless of whether it was the top forces or the surrounding forces, they would all be tempted. The following period of time would definitely not be peaceful. Fortunately, Qin Yu didn't want to develop peacefully. Creating chaos in the East Continent was exactly what Qin Yu wanted. This would make it easier for Qin Yu to act. The situation wasn't out of Qin Yu's expectations. The news of the 7-star ancient pagoda's destruction spread throughout the East Continent and even the 9 continents in the Heaven Domain. The destruction of the 7-star ancient pagoda shook the entire East Continent. Countless forces immediately reacted. The 7-star ancient emperor had indeed fallen. The sacred dragon sect, which had swallowed the 7-star ancient pagoda, had only done so because they had the upper hand. With this, the surrounding forces of the sacred dragon sect were in an uproar. An unknown force had suddenly become one of the top forces in the East Continent. Naturally, countless forces weren't convinced. Of course, for the time being, not many forces made a move. After all, being able to destroy the 7-star ancient pagoda in a single night was enough to show that the sacred dragon sect's fighting strength was not to be underestimated, even without a senior emperor expert. Therefore, those forces that were tempted to make a move could only move in the dark and gather information for the time being. The sacred dragon sect didn't have much of a reaction to this. They only set up defenses around the imperial city of the 7-star ancient pagoda. The sacred dragon sect hadn't completely subdued the regions further away. The 7-star ancient pagoda's territory was too big. Ever since the imperial city was conquered, many forces in the regions further away from the imperial city had declared themselves kings. Of course, any forces that declared themselves kings and tried to divide the 7-star ancient pagoda's territory would be wiped out the next day. When a force supported by a Middle Ancient Emperor was killed along with the Middle Ancient Emperor, the chaos in the 7-star ancient pagoda finally calmed down. At least on the surface, all the forces had chosen to submit to the sacred dragon sect. The destruction of the 7-star ancient pagoda, the rise of the sacred dragon sect, and the other forces that were tempted to make a move had caused the entire East Continent to be in turmoil. This phenomenon only calmed down when a super top force intervened. Emperor God Tian Yuan gave the order to recruit the sacred dragon sect. Chapter 632. This was an explosive piece of news after the fall of 7-star ancient kingdom. It seemed that Emperor God Tian Yuan, who was originally an overlord in East Continent, had his eyes on 7-star ancient emperor's resources. The interference of such a huge figure had caused many forces to settle down and watch in the dark. Based on how the sacred dragon sect had suppressed the rebellions in various parts of the 7-star ancient nation, it was likely that the sacred dragon sect had a lot of experts. Emperor God Tian Yuan had given the order to recruit sacred dragon sect. No one knew if sacred dragon sect would follow his orders. One should know that Emperor God Tian Yuan was a true almighty in the later stage of ancient emperor. Among the top experts in East Continent, he was definitely in the top 5. East Continent, Imperial City of 7-star Ancient Kingdom, Sacred Dragon Sect. As long as we surrender, the territory of 7-star Ancient Kingdom will still be under our jurisdiction? This is great. I was still worried about finding a good excuse to take action. Now, he has delivered himself to me. After hearing what Pan Hong said, Qin Yu displayed a smile on his face. Emperor God Tian Yuan's action was exactly what Qin Yu wanted. Among the 3 ancient emperors in East Continent, only Emperor God Tian Yuan and Dragon Tiger Supreme Emperor were left. As long as Emperor God Tian Yuan was killed, there would only be Dragon Tiger Supreme Emperor left. By then, Qin Yu's enemies in East Continent would be settled. Master, Tian Yuan Shin Dynasty is obviously up to no good. We have to be prepared. Pan Hong said with a serious expression. The destruction of the 7 stars ancient kingdom could be said to be entirely due to Qin Yu's strength. However, if Emperor God Tian Yuan were to bring the army of Tian Yuan Shin Dynasty, it would not be easy to deal with them. Didn't they give us a month to think about it? Then, let's use this month to prepare. There was a flash of cold murderous intent in Qin Yu's eyes. While the outside world was in a heated discussion, a month's time passed quickly. Countless forces were waiting for Sacred Dragon Sect's reply. Master, the messenger of Tian Yuan Shin Dynasty is here. On the day of the 1-month deadline, Tian Yuan Shin Dynasty sent a messenger over. He was an ancient emperor. I am here under the orders of an emperor god. Why is your master not coming out? The early stage ancient emperor frowned as he looked at Qin Yu, who was sitting on the main seat. Obviously, he did not think that Qin Yu, who was only in the early stage of the ancient emperor realm, would lead the Sacred Dragon Sect to destroy the 7-star ancient kingdom. You have already entered the ancient emperor realm, yet you are still so blind. Could it be that the Tian Yuan divine dynasty is filled with trash like you? Qin Yu said calmly. It was impossible for Qin Yu to agree to Emperor God Tian Yuan's recruitment. On the contrary, he wanted to take the chance to start a war with Tian Yuan Shin Dynasty. Do you know who you're talking to? Being humiliated by Qin Yu in such a manner, the face of the arrogant early ancient emperor twitched. His eyes were gloomy and ice-cold as he stared at Qin Yu with a cold, killing intent flickering in his eyes. Of course I know. Isn't it just that old bastard Tian Yuan's dog? Qin Yu said with a faint smile. You're courting death. The early stage ancient emperor was enraged as a terrifying aura burst out from his body. Inside the palace, Pan Hong and the other divine sovereigns were forced to retreat in the face of such a powerful pressure. You're overestimating yourself? Qin Yu lifted his eyelids and a cold light flashed. Demonic aura surged from his body as a vast emperor aura descended. The aura from the early stage ancient emperor was pushed back into his body. He could not resist at all. Late ancient emperor? The early stage ancient emperor could feel the terrifying aura from Qin Yu and he was in disbelief. Qin Yu was only in the early stage of the ancient emperor realm. Why would he have the aura of a late stage ancient emperor? Or could it be that Qin Yu had been hiding his cultivation? But what was the benefit of doing so? As long as Qin Yu displayed the cultivation of a late-stage ancient emperor, the chaos around the 7-star ancient kingdom would be quelled. However, Qin Yu did not do so. It was obvious that he was plotting something. What is your motive? The early-stage ancient emperor stared at Qin Yu in shock. At this time, I think you should be worried about your life. Qin Yu waved his hand and the early-stage ancient emperor was completely sealed. An ancient soul seal formed in Qin Yu's palm. You want to search my soul and refine it? Do you know the consequences of doing so? The God Emperor will not let you off. Feeling the ripples from the soul seal, the early-stage ancient emperor's face turned pale as he struggled with all his might. However, under Qin Yu's seal, there was no way for him to resist. Qin Yu could not be bothered to talk nonsense. With a slap, the ancient soul seal entered the early stage ancient emperor's body. Very quickly, Qin Yu shattered the early stage ancient emperor's soul seal and started to search and refine it. Behead this person as an example. After getting the information from the Tianyuan divine dynasty, Qin Yu threw the early stage ancient emperor to Pan Hong. When Pan Hong heard this, his face turned serious. However, he did not say anything and immediately did as he was told. Gotcha. When the ancient emperor of the Tianyuan divine dynasty was beheaded, in a palace a few million miles away in the Tianyuan divine dynasty, a crack appeared on a jade token and the light dimmed. Is this the envoy that we sent to the sacred dragon sect? When the cultivator sitting cross-legged in the palace saw this, his complexion changed greatly and he immediately left. In the palace of the Tianyuan divine dynasty. You are saying that the ancient emperor that we sent to recruit the sacred dragon sect has been killed? A middle-aged man in golden robes with an 8-clawed golden dragon embroidered on it asked sternly. Yes. The cultivator from before quickly took out the token. The sacred dragon sect is so daring to kill our ancient emperor? The man in golden robes with the 8-clawed golden dragon embroidered on it had a gloomy look on his face. This matter is a little weird. Even if the sacred dragon sect rejected our recruitment, there's no need for them to become enemies with us. Moreover, killing an ancient emperor isn't the same as becoming enemies, it's a blood feud. An old man in a white robe with blue eyes stepped forward and said in astonishment. When the man in golden robes heard this, his eyes flashed and he fell into deep thought. This made sense. Could it be that the ancient emperor of the divine dynasty was not killed by the sacred dragon sect? Shush! Just then, a white light shone from outside the palace. The man in golden robes caught the white light and used his spiritual consciousness to probe it. After a while, a strong killing intent burst out from the man in golden robes and engulfed the palace. The sacred dragon sect rejected the recruitment and killed the envoy in public. While the crowd was still confused as to what was going on, a voice suddenly sounded from the white light. They are so daring. A bunch of people who are digging their own grave. Do they think they can go against us just because they have replaced the leaderless 7-star ancient nation? This is intolerable. The sacred dragon sect must be destroyed. Otherwise, it will damage the dignity of the divine dynasty. When the experts of the Tianyuan divine dynasty heard the words of the spy in the white light, they were enraged. I will report this to the divine master. The man in golden robes regained his senses and prepared to leave the palace. There is no need for that. I already know about this matter. However, at this moment, a calm and indifferent voice resounded in the divine palace. At some point, a figure had appeared on the throne of the divine palace. Chapter 633. Divine Master! When the golden-robed man and the others heard this, they respectfully bowed towards that person. The person who appeared on the throne was the master of Tianyuan Shin dynasty, Emperor God Tianyuan. Fulong, gather the generals of Tianyuan Shin dynasty and get ready to move out. Emperor God Tianyuan did not waste any time and gave his orders. Sacred Dragon Sect had killed the messenger of the ancient emperor of Tianyuan Shin dynasty and beheaded him in public. Tianyuan Shin dynasty could not tolerate such a serious challenge to the dignity of Tianyuan Shin dynasty. They had to destroy Tianyuan Shin dynasty in a thunderous manner in order to intimidate the outside forces. Of course, there were other reasons why Emperor God Tianyuan targeted Sacred Dragon Sect. Yes. The golden-robed man turned and left immediately. In no time, the entire Tianyuan Shin dynasty was in an uproar. Terrifying auras gathered from all directions. Each of them was at least as strong as a divine emperor, and there were even quite a few ancient emperors. Tianyuan Shin dynasty's foundation was much stronger than 7-star ancient kingdom. Qing Guang. When the golden-robed ancient emperor called Fu Long gathered the army of experts of Tian Yuan Shin dynasty, Emperor God Tian Yuan pondered for a while and shouted, "Divine Master!" In the void, a faintly discernible green light flashed. A person whose body was almost transparent, as if he did not have a physical body, appeared like a ghost. "Go to the imperial city of 7-star ancient kingdom and find an item for me," Emperor God Tian Yuan said. "What is it?" the ghost-like green light asked with an illusory voice. "According to what I know, 7-star ancient emperor once obtained an ancient immortal token and hid it in 7-star God Pagoda. Sneak into 7-star God Pagoda and find the ancient immortal token." Emperor God Tian Yuan opened his right hand, and there was a flash of divine light in his palm. An ancient immortal token appeared. That was the reason why Tian Yuan Shin dynasty wanted to recruit Sacred Dragon sect. At Emperor God Tian Yuan's level, Emperor God Tian Yuan wouldn't show up personally if it was only the resources in the territory of 7-star ancient kingdom. Emperor God Tian Yuan's real target was the ancient immortal token that was rumored to contain the opportunity of the immortal path. It was a pity that Emperor God Tian Yuan did not alert 7-star ancient emperor, as he was not sure if 7-star ancient emperor had really died. In the end, Sacred Dragon sect took the initiative. "Understood." In the void, a light flashed, and the green light immediately disappeared. "How can someone at the peak of martial arts stop me?" Emperor God Tian Yuan stood up and his eyes were filled with arrogance. As long as he could obtain the ancient immortal token, God Emperor Tian Yuan was confident that he could comprehend the opportunity of immortal Tao and cross the 9th realm of the martial path. He had been in the advanced ancient emperor realm for too long, and his comprehension of the 9 levels of the martial path had reached an extremely shocking level. He only needed one opportunity to cross over to the late ancient emperor realm. After the Sacred Dragon sect executed the ancient emperor's envoy of the Tian Yuan divine dynasty in public, the East Continent, which had been in turmoil, quietened down. None of the factions dared to make any moves against the Sacred Dragon sect. The Sacred Dragon sect had provoked the Tian Yuan God dynasty in such a manner. Without a doubt, the Tian Yuan God dynasty would retaliate. However, the Holy Dragon sect would not do such a thing for no reason. They might have some hidden forces that could go against the Tian Yuan divine dynasty. Hence, all the factions in the East Continent were watching the clash between the old Overlord faction and the new Overlord faction. No matter who won the clash, it would be an opportunity for the factions in the East Continent that were eager to develop. They could take the opportunity to expand. Of course, the Sacred Dragon sect did not have any almighties in the later ancient emperor realm. The factions in the outside world were more optimistic about the Tian Yuan God dynasty. An existence in the later ancient emperor realm was comparable to any superfaction. The difference between having a senior emperor and not having one was like the difference between heaven and earth. East Continent Divine Dragon sect. Master, according to the report from the spies, the Tian Yuan God dynasty is ready to take action against the Sacred Dragon sect. This time, Emperor God Tian Yuan will take action personally. The Sacred Dragon sect has no chance of surviving, a green-robed elder said to the man sitting on the main seat. The man sitting on the main seat was one of the overlords in the East Continent, Divine Dragon Emperor. That's strange. It's just an ancient country, and old man Tian Yuan will take action personally. The Dragon Tiger Emperor muttered to himself in astonishment after hearing this. From what I see, the reason why Emperor God Tian Yuan took action is most probably because Emperor God was completely infuriated by the public execution of ancient Emperor of God dynasty. The green-robed elder speculated. Old man Tian Yuan is determined to break through the limits of the ancient emperor realm and break through to the 9th level of the martial path. He won't take action personally for such a small matter. There must be some treasure from the Sacred Dragon sect or the 7-star ancient kingdom that attracted him. As an ancient emperor expert from the East Continent, Divine Dragon Emperor knew Emperor God Tian Yuan well. They had teamed up a few times before. Should we take the opportunity to intervene? The green-robed old man asked tentatively when he heard this. Have you checked the background of the Sacred Dragon sect? Divine Dragon Emperor asked after pondering for a long time. Yes, but we have not found out the background of the ancient emperor. It's as though the ancient emperor appeared out of nowhere. Plus, I'm afraid there are still unknown experts in the Sacred Dragon sect. The green-robed elder said quickly. Although the seven-star ancient kingdom no longer had a seven-star ancient emperor, the remaining experts were not to be underestimated. There were 3 middle-stage ancient emperors. To be able to destroy the seven-star ancient kingdom and kill all the higher-ups, it was definitely not something an ordinary power could do. Then, let's watch the fire burn from the other side of the river. Let's check if Emperor God Tian Yuan is willing to take action personally before we decide if we should intervene. The Dragon Soul Sovereign let out a sinister laugh. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the aureole behind. He wanted to see what Emperor God Tian Yuan's motive was. In the silence of the various worlds, the situation was as expected by the outside forces. A day after the beheading incident, the Tianyuan divine dynasty gathered a large army and charged towards the seven-star ancient kingdom. However, the Tianyuan divine dynasty did not stop at the other worlds of the seven-star ancient kingdom and headed straight for the imperial city. The main palace of the Sacred Dragon sect, the imperial city of the seven-star ancient kingdom. They're here. Pan Hong, who had been at the peak of the imperial city, was surprised. He immediately flew down and informed the army of the Sacred Dragon sect. Then, layers of spirit barriers rose into the sky one after another. Ancient arrays appeared one after another. There were so many of them that it was shocking. Not long later, a group of black figures appeared in the distance of the imperial city. The aura that could destroy the heavens and earth swept over from tens of thousands of miles away. In front of the terrifying aura, the entire Sacred Dragon sect's martial artists trembled in fear. The aura contained the real aura of a senior emperor. Moreover, it was getting stronger and stronger as it got closer. It was not comparable to the seven-star ancient kingdom's sacrifice spirit's aura. Chapter 634. Rumble. In the blink of an eye, the army of murderous experts from Tian Yuan Divine Dynasty appeared outside Imperial Palace. Leading the army was a golden war chariot pulled by 9 ancient exotic beasts. The chariot was bathed in golden lightning, and it was mighty. On the war chariot was Emperor God Tian Yuan, who was in a yellow robe and had an emperor's sword at his waist. Emperor God Tian Yuan, seeing Emperor God Tian Yuan, one of the overlords of East Continent, the people from Sacred Dragon sect, who were already terrified, felt chills down their spines. They had seen the experts in the middle stage of Ancient Emperor Realm from seven-star Ancient Kingdom. However, in front of Emperor God Tian Yuan's mighty aura, the experts in the middle stage of Ancient Emperor Realm were not worth mentioning. The two of them were not on the same level, and there was a huge gap between heaven and earth. Da-da-da. Just as the experts from Sacred Dragon sect were in a daze, there was a sound of steady footsteps. Everyone turned around and saw a figure in a green robe walking out of Imperial Palace. It was Qin Yu, who looked calm. Seeing Qin Yu's appearance, many people from the Sacred Dragon sect were shocked. After all, Sacred Dragon sect had risen from the border of martial arts world to replace seven-star Ancient Kingdom and become the top powerhouse in East Continent, all because of Qin Yu. Then, the people from Sacred Dragon sect naturally placed their hopes on Qin Yu. Master! Pan Hong and Taishu Kong immediately went forward. Qin Yu looked at the awe-inspiring Emperor God Tian Yuan, who was standing on the war chariot, and there was a flash of cold light in his eyes. He took a step in the air, and stood opposite Emperor God Tian Yuan with countless barriers in between. "You are the master of Sacred Dragon sect?" Emperor God Tian Yuan looked at Qin Yu coldly. He did not look down on Qin Yu because he was only in the early stage of ancient emperor realm. However, he was not moved. His cold gaze did not seem like he was looking at a living thing. It seems that you are not blind. Qin Yu smiled faintly. Hearing Qin Yu's arrogant words, the top powers of the Tianyuan divine dynasty were enraged. Their killing intent surged as they wished they could tear Qin Yu into pieces. Do you know the consequences of killing the ancient emperor of the divine dynasty? Emperor God Tian Yuan's eyes grew grave and his gaze turned cold. As a consequence, I will send you all to hell to accompany your subordinates. Emperor God Tian Yuan threatened. However, he didn't expect Qin Yu to be even more arrogant than him. Good, very good. In all these years, you are the first person who dares to speak to this exalted in such a manner. Rest assured, this exalted will not let you die so easily. Tianyuan Xin Chao's face darkened and murderous intent filled the air. When the martial artists of Tianyuan divine dynasty saw this, they were filled with murderous intent. Above the imperial city, the clouds changed and the earth shook. Whoosh! At this moment, Qin Yu's expression suddenly changed. He tilted his head and saw a green light flash through the void, penetrating the layers of barriers and disappearing. In the next moment, a man in green light appeared beside Emperor God Tian Yuan. Space doctrine? Qin Yu stared at the green light that appeared and squinted his eyes. Only those who comprehended space doctrine could enter and exit the layers of barriers and barriers freely. Master God, the treasures in the 7-star divine pagoda have been plundered and nothing is left. The green light sent a message to Emperor God Tian Yuan. The treasures are in the hands of the Holy Dragon sect? Emperor God Tian Yuan heard and his gaze fell on Qin Yu again. At this moment, the hidden experts of the Holy Dragon sect had yet to appear. It seemed that they had a plan in the dark. Attack! Emperor God Tian Yuan ordered coldly. Immediately, the army of martial artists of Tianyuan divine dynasty spread out. However, they didn't attack the imperial city of the Holy Dragon sect. Instead, they surrounded the imperial city. When they surrounded the imperial city, they set up terrifying barriers and trapped the imperial city. After sealing the barriers, Emperor God Tian Yuan held the emperor's sword and stepped out of the Thunder War chariot. He walked step by step towards the imperial city. Swoosh! The barriers set up by the Holy Dragon sect were broken into pieces by Emperor God Tian Yuan's sword. The sword light continued forward and opened up a spacious path. Qin Yu opened his right hand and a light circle appeared. The destructive sword light that Emperor God Tian Yuan had slashed at him was swallowed by the light circle and disappeared. It seems that Emperor God Tian Yuan wants to destroy the entire Holy Dragon sect with his power alone? This time, the hidden experts of the Holy Dragon sect have to take action personally. Indeed, an older generation emperor, unless it's an existence of the same level, it's impossible to fight against him. Far away from the imperial city of the Holy Dragon sect, countless forces that came with the army of Tianyuan divine dynasty were discussing. An almighty in the later stage of the ancient emperor realm had shown his power. You're quite capable. It's a pity that the power of the later stage of the ancient emperor realm isn't something that an ant like you can understand. When Emperor God Tian Yuan saw that Qin Yu had dissolved his sword light with one move, he was surprised. However, that was all. Emperor God Tian Yuan took action again, and the Emperor's sword turned into a 10,000-foot-long Shinran. The Shinran soared into the sky and the power of the Tao in the universe was triggered. It was as though the entire universe was pressing down on Qin Yu. Not bad. Tian Yuan's Tao can already trigger the resonance of the universe. It seems that you haven't wasted the past 1,000 years. However, Qin Yu lifted his head and looked at the Shinran that was charging at him with boundless power of the universe. However, he didn't move at all. Rumble. In the next moment, the heaven-shaking Shinran swept over and the destructive Tao exploded. It caused the entire seven-star ancient kingdom to tremble violently. However, Qin Yu, who was standing in the void and seemed to be defenseless, took on Emperor God Tian Yuan's attack head-on, and he wasn't hurt at all. Even his aura wasn't disturbed at all. No matter if it was Tian Yuan Shin Dynasty, Sacred Dragon Sect, or the powerhouses who were watching the battle from afar, they were all shocked when they saw the scene. Emperor God Tian Yuan's destructive attack didn't hurt Qin Yu at all? Even Emperor God Tian Yuan revealed a shocked expression. However, Emperor God Tian Yuan wasn't shocked because Qin Yu wasn't hurt at all. It was because the aura that Qin Yu gave out had reached the level of the later stage of the ancient Emperor realm. His power wasn't below his at all. More importantly, there were strands of primal chaos energy revolving around Qin Yu's body. Every wisp of chaotic qi sent chills down the spines of the Tianyuan divine dynasty. Even though your cultivation has increased by quite a bit, you still can't escape death today. Qin Yu looked at Emperor God Tian Yuan coldly. The 1-month deadline that Emperor God Tian Yuan had given him gave Qin Yu enough time to prepare. In the 1 month, Qin Yu merged the ancestor demon statue into his body, and he could unleash the cultivation of the later stage of the ancient Emperor realm anytime. At the same time, the complete primal chaos killing array was also unleashed by Qin Yu. It could be said that the current Qin Yu was even scarier than the time when he controlled the killing formation to deal with the 7-star ancient emperor during the invasion of the demon clan. The later stage of the ancient Emperor Tian Yuan Shin dynasty would definitely die here. Chapter 635. The Aura of a Later Stage Ancient Emperor. As expected, Sacred Dragon Sect has a hidden expert of the older generation Ancient Emperor. No wonder Sacred Dragon Sect dared to swallow up 7-star Ancient Kingdom and was not afraid of Tianyuan Divine Dynasty. However, there aren't many later-stage Ancient Emperor Almighties in the entire 9 continents. Where did this older generation Ancient Emperor come from? Could it be that an external force has interfered with the situation in East Continent? Looking at how he swallowed up 7-star Ancient Kingdom and offended Tianyuan Divine Dynasty, it seems like he might be from the outside world. He might even have something to do with the death of 7-star Ancient Emperor. If that's the case, I'm afraid the entire East Continent will be implicated. Sensing the terrifying oppressive aura coming from Qin Yu's body, the spectating powers in the distance were all incomparably shocked. Luckily, Tianyuan Divine Dynasty had taken action first. Otherwise, any one of them would be courting death if they went against Sacred Dragon Sect. Looking at the scene, the army of Tianyuan Divine Dynasty, who were originally filled with murderous intent, turned solemn. It seemed like it wasn't possible for them to completely destroy Sacred Dragon Sect in this battle. The experts of Sacred Dragon Sect, who were originally flustered, were excited. As long as they could get through the crisis of Tianyuan Divine Dynasty, Sacred Dragon Sect would become the top force in East Continent. He's actually a later stage Ancient Emperor. Where did he come from? Among the spectating forces, one of them was Dragon Tiger Emperor. Dragon Tiger Emperor wanted to see the motive of Tianyuan Divine Dynasty, but he had not expected to see such a scene. He had also become extremely curious about Qin Yu's origin. You're not from East Continent, but you're controlling the forces in East Continent and disrupting the situation in East Continent. What's your motive? Emperor God Tian Yuan held the Emperor's sword in his hand and stared at Qin Yu. Compared to before, Qin Yu was like a completely different person. Even Emperor God Tian Yuan did not dare to belittle him. Why are you asking so many questions when you're about to die? Qin Yu did not waste any more time. Divine light gathered in his palm and formed a world-exterminating spear. He threw the spear at Tianyuan Divine Dynasty. With a bang, the void exploded, and a deep black hole appeared. Emperor God Tian Yuan's expression changed and he noticed it instantly. Then, he swung his sword. The void on the left side of the Tianyuan spirit dynasty was torn apart without any warning. A world-destroyer avatar appeared in front of it and was sliced apart by the Emperor's sword. Explode! A light shout sounded from Qin Yu's mouth. Immediately, in front of Tianyuan Divine Dynasty's horrified eyes, the Armageddon Divine Spear that had been cut into two suddenly exploded. Extremely horrifying extermination killing intent suddenly exploded and swept across the sky. Emperor God Tianyuan was instantly engulfed by the murderous intention. Even though he had defended himself in time, Emperor God Tianyuan was sent flying dozens of feet away, and his aura fluctuated. Whoosh! However, before Tianyuan Shen Chao could catch his breath, Qin Yu pounced forward like a phantom. Terrifying Taoist techniques swept out with destructive murderous intent, attacking Sovereign Tianyuan from all directions. Sovereign Tianyuan was forced into a defensive position, unable to find a chance to counterattack. In such a violent battle, it was actually one-sided. The spectators, who were originally discussing, couldn't help but hold their breaths. Emperor God Tianyuan, who was an overlord in East Continent, was actually suppressed to the point that he couldn't even counterattack. If someone were to say that at any other time, they would definitely be drowned in saliva. However, at that very moment, such a scene was right in front of everyone's eyes, and they had no choice but to believe it. Tianyuan Emperor's sword, 9 heavens / Emperor God Tianyuan, who was in an increasingly dangerous situation, naturally knew that he couldn't just take the hits and defend himself. After taking Qin Yu's punch and spitting out a mouthful of blood, Emperor God Tianyuan immediately counterattacked. The Emperor's sword gave out an ancient divine power and transformed into a 10,000-foot-long sword. It slashed at Qin Yu in the air. When the 10,000-foot-long sword slashed down, everything in the universe was drawn over by the 10,000-foot-long sword. It was as though everything in the universe was sent to the sword. Naturally, Qin Yu, who was targeted by Emperor God Tianyuan, became the main target and he couldn't escape. It's about time to put an end to this. When Qin Yu saw the situation, he condensed a world-destroyer divine spear in his right hand again. The surrounding chaotic air flowed into the world-destroyer divine spear. At the same time, in various parts of Imperial City, figures flashed past and set up ancient seals. They were Qin Yu's dragon aura clones. Die! Qin Yu held the divine spear and transformed into a rainbow light. He dashed towards the 10,000-foot-long sword. Slash! When Emperor God Tianyuan saw the situation, he held the sword with both hands and used all his strength to activate his Dao skill to increase the power of the 10,000-foot-long sword. It seems like we have to decide the victor. When Dragon Lake Emperor saw the situation, his gaze focused. Both of them gave their all. The victor of the battle would be decided in the exchange of blows. In the void of 9 heavens, Qin Yu, who had transformed into a rainbow light, instantly clashed with Emperor God Tianyuan, who was holding the sword with both hands and slashing it down. There was a blinding light that appeared from where the two of them clashed. Even Ancient Emperor couldn't help but close his eyes in pain. What appeared from the clash wasn't any light but an explosion of Dao skill power. Gotcha! The divine spear and the huge sword were in a stalemate for a while. Then there was a cracking sound. How could it be? Emperor God Tianyuan's ears twitched and his expression changed. Just as he was about to react, there was a crack on the 10,000-foot-long sword. Then, a destructive spear light pierced through the huge sword and pierced through it. Puff! As the Dao skill broke, blood splattered everywhere. Emperor God Tianyuan's divine robe and Dao skill were pierced through by the divine spear, and there was a huge bloody hole where his heart was. This aura, at that moment, Emperor God Tianyuan seemed to have noticed something. He lifted his head and looked at Qin Yu in shock. There was disbelief in his eyes. It's too late to realize it now. Qin Yu knew that Emperor God Tianyuan had recognized him. because Qin Yu had used the power of celestial extermination painting in the spear earlier. Back in Celestial God Graveyard, Qin Yu had used celestial extermination painting to kill everyone, and even Emperor God Tian Yuan had almost died. Hence, he was naturally familiar with the murderous intention of celestial extermination painting. Destroy. Qin Yu thought, and the void around him became distorted. He isolated himself from the outside world. Then, there was a destructive murderous intention that exploded from the world destroyer divine spear. Under the destructive murderous intention, Emperor God Tian Yuan couldn't react in time, and he was killed on the spot. Ancestor Demon Statue, Chaos Killing Formation, Celestial Extermination Painting, Qin Yu could be said to have used most of his trump cards to kill Emperor God Tian Yuan. Although it was much easier than 7-star Ancient Emperor, Emperor God Tian Yuan's power was above 7-star Ancient Emperors. Divine Master? Divine Master died? This is impossible. This is definitely impossible. When the army of Tian Yuan Xin dynasty saw that Emperor God Tian Yuan was dead and his soul had dispersed completely, they were in disbelief, and they were dumbfounded. Chapter 636. Emperor God Tian Yuan, one of the few almighties in the later stage of the ancient emperor realm in East Continent, had died? It wasn't just the army of Tian Yuan Divine Dynasty that was shocked. All the forces that saw the scene were shocked beyond words. They were all stunned. Even the Dragon Tiger Emperor was stunned. Dragon Tiger Emperor was well aware of Emperor God Tian Yuan's power. But then, he had been killed so easily. This caused the Dragon Tiger Emperor to feel an endless amount of fear toward Qin Yu. Apart from being wary, Dragon Tiger Emperor was also filled with murderous intent. With such strong fighting power, Qin Yu was definitely not an ancient emperor from East Continent. It seemed that there was indeed an external force that had interfered with the situation in East Continent. The most likely person was an older generation ancient emperor from East Continent. East Continent was the lair of Dragon Tiger Emperor. How could he allow an external force to act so recklessly? However, such thoughts were merely thoughts. The Dragon Tiger Emperor did not attack at that moment. Even if he took action now, he would not be able to destroy Holy Dragon Sect. He had to wait for the right time. The other older generation ancient emperors from East Continent would not sit back and do nothing. Outside the imperial family, those who surrender will not be killed. Qin Yu held the divine spear and walked to the top of Imperial City. He looked down at the army of Tian Yuan Divine Dynasty that had surrounded Imperial City. Now that Emperor God Tian Yuan had been killed, the territory of Tian Yuan Divine Dynasty would naturally fall into Qin Yu's hands. With Holy Dragon Sect's current foundation, they did not have enough power to guard the territory of an ancient country and a divine dynasty. Hence, Qin Yu planned to subdue the experts of Tian Yuan Divine Dynasty. After this battle, the older generation ancient emperors of the East Continent would not be so foolish as to provoke him again. After subduing them, he would be able to guard the territory of the two ancient countries and divine dynasties. Hearing Qin Yu's words, the experts of Tian Yuan Divine Dynasty looked at each other and were obviously shaken. Qin Yu could even kill Emperor God Tian Yuan. If he wanted to kill them, they would not be able to resist. When faced with a choice between life and death, they would naturally choose to live. The golden-robed Fu Long, Qin Guang, and the others all had resolute expressions. Not only were they members of the royal family, but they were also trusted aides of the Tian Yuan Divine Dynasty. Naturally, the Sacred Dragon Sect would not let them off. Since you're going to die anyway, don't think you'll have an easy time either. Fu Long roared. The 8-clawed golden dragon on his golden robe rushed out. With a mighty divine might, it charged towards the people of the Sacred Dragon Sect. Against Qin Yu, they naturally had no chance of succeeding. However, the people of the Sacred Dragon Sect were generally not strong. Even if they had to die, they would make the people of the sacred dragon sect pay a heavy price. Die. Qin Yu remained indifferent as he watched Fu Long lead the Sky Origin Spirit Dynasty's royal family cultivators. With an intention from Qin Yu, numerous profound ancient runes appeared in the void with the imperial city as the center. After those ancient runes trembled slightly, mysterious ancient runes spread out from them and connected with each other, forming a monstrous ancient formation. In an instant, all the royal family cultivators of the Tianyuan divine dynasty were wiped out. With the annihilation of the royal family cultivators, the other elites of the Tianyuan divine dynasty naturally had no intention of resisting. They all knelt down in submission. After Qin Yu cast a restriction, he rescued a few of the royal family cultivators who had escaped. Shortly after, he got Pan Hong and the others to bring them back to the Tianyuan divine dynasty. Soon, Pan Hong sent back news that the various regions of the Tianyuan divine dynasty had fallen into the hands of the sacred dragon sect. The takeover of the Tianyuan divine dynasty was even easier than the takeover of the seven-star ancient kingdom. At this point, Qin Yu had eliminated 2 enemies in the East continent. Only the Dragon Tiger Emperor was left. After receiving the news, Qin Yu, who was at the top of the Emperor's city, tilted his head and looked in a certain direction. Although the battle had ended a long time ago, the spectators in the distance had not left. Among those people, Qin Yu discovered a familiar aura. Sensing Qin Yu's gaze, the Dragon Tiger Emperor lifted his eyelids. When their eyes met, there was a faint collision of Dao technique. That is the Dragon Tiger Emperor? Does this person intend to provoke the Dragon Tiger Divine Sect? I wonder what the Dragon Tiger Emperor will do. The spectators in the distance followed Qin Yu's gaze and quickly discovered the Dragon Tiger Emperor. Just as the spectators were discussing and wondering what the Dragon Tiger Emperor would do, the Dragon Tiger Emperor took a step forward and disappeared into the void. This caused the spectating factions to be stunned. It seemed that the Dragon Tiger Emperor was quite fearful of Qin Yu, who had just killed Emperor God Tianyuan. When Qin Yu saw this, he did not chase after the Dragon Tiger Emperor. Regardless of whether it was the seven-star ancient emperor during the invasion, the Scarlet Moon Supreme Emperor during the battle in the spiritual state, or Emperor God Tianyuan, Qin Yu had killed all of them. The reason why Qin Yu had been able to kill them on the spot was that Qin Yu had created a sealed battlefield where there was no escape. Just like this imperial city right now. Everything within a circumference of 1,000 miles had been sealed off by Qin Yu using a secret technique. Entering was easy. However, if one wanted to leave, one would have to spend a lot of effort. In the battle of ancient emperors, life and death could be decided in an instant. Not to mention the effort, it was hard to even buy some time. Hence, Emperor God Tianyuan had chosen to fight to the death with Qin Yu. He had never thought of escaping, as there was simply no time to do so. This was also the reason why Qin Yu had not chased after the Dragon Tiger Emperor. With his current power, Qin Yu was confident that he could defeat the Dragon Tiger Emperor. However, if he wanted to kill the Dragon Tiger Emperor, he would have to set up a trap. Or, he would have to wait until his cultivation had recovered to the peak of his previous life. When Qin Yu was at his peak, the reason why people were fearful of him was that although he had not entered the great circle of ancient emperor realm, he had the exceptional fighting power to kill an advanced ancient emperor easily. The Qin Yu of that time was not someone with his current level of cultivation that he could compare to. After the battle ended, Qin Yu returned to the imperial city and went into seclusion. Previously, when he had refined the origin blood of the primal chaos ancestor dragon, Qin Yu's cultivation had increased to the maximum. Now, after 2 life and death battles, Qin Yu's foundation had been completely stabilized and he could raise his cultivation. Of course, Qin Yu did not have the origin blood of the dragon tribe to refine now. The origin blood of any dragon tribe member could only be devoured by the ancient battle dragon skill once, and it could not be refined repeatedly. During this seclusion, Qin Yu did not want to raise his cultivation. Instead, he wanted to refine the netherworld dragon spear, and it had reached the most crucial moment. However, the current dragon spear could no longer be called the netherworld dragon spear. This was because Qin Yu had integrated the origin blood of the primal chaos ancestor dragon into the dragon spear. Once it was refined successfully, it would become the primal chaos dragon spear. In the space of the ancient dragon seal, the sky-incinerating golden flame burned endlessly. Within the sky-incinerating golden flame, a black dragon spear was being refined by the divine flame continuously. One could vaguely see that there were chaotic dragon patterns on the dragon spear. An extremely terrifying aura was being emitted from the primal chaos dragon spear. Could it be that its grade is going to surpass a divine weapon? Qin Yu could feel the increasingly powerful aura being emitted from the primal chaos dragon spear, and his eyes shone brightly. Heaven Domain's spiritual weapons were divided into 6 ranks: yellow, black, earth, heaven, saint, and divine. Every rank was further divided into 9 grades. For example, Emperor God Tian Yuan's Emperor Sky Sword was a divine grade 9 Emperor weapon, and it was extremely powerful. However, divine weapons were not the limit of spiritual weapons. Above divine weapons were immortal weapons. Chapter 637. During the invasion of the extraterritorial demon race, the major forces of the central region had sacrificed immortal artifacts. However, the ancient immortals had become legends, and the immortal Dao cultivation method had become a thing of the past. Hence, no one could unleash the immortal aura of an immortal artifact. It could only be used as a deterrent and was known as an immortal artifact. However, the chaotic dragon spear was different. It could be considered Qin Yu's natal spiritual artifact. If the chaotic dragon spear broke through to the immortal artifact level, Qin Yu would be able to control it completely. The terrifying power of a complete immortal artifact was not something to be trifled with. As Qin Yu waited, the refinement of the chaotic dragon spear became more and more refined. The immortal aura that it emitted started to contain the immortal Dao aura. When Qin Yu killed Emperor God Tian Yuan and waited for the refinement of the chaotic dragon spear to be completed, several ancient emperors gathered in the central region. The god bestowment platform in the central region. 6 silhouettes gathered from different places. If any Heaven Domain warrior saw this, they would be extremely shocked. The 6 of them were the top ancient emperors in the sky region. They were also the cream of the crop among the ancient emperors. The 6 of them were Emperor Kuang Long, Ghost Emperor Jin Tian, Dao Emperor 4 Symbols, Emperor Luan Bei, Emperor De Yen, and Emperor De Sunday. The 6 of them were the ancient emperors who had joined forces to ambush Qin Yu in the graveyard of the immortal gods. Ghost Emperor Jin Tian, you mentioned in the secret letter that there is an opportunity that could allow us to cross the 9th realm of the martial path. What do you mean? Dao Emperor 4 Symbols spoke first. Xing Luo and the other ancient emperors also looked at Ghost Emperor Jin Tian. Otherwise, Dao Emperor 4 Symbols and the other ancient emperors would not have gathered together so easily. Just like what I said. Ghost Emperor Jin Tian smiled eerily. Cut to the chase. Don't keep us guessing, Xing Luo said. He had been looking for the ancient immortal token recently, and did not have much time to waste on unimportant matters. Alright, I'll cut to the chase. A living being from the outer region has appeared in the East continent. Ghost Emperor Jin Tian said solemnly, but there was an unconcealable joy in his voice. Living being from the outer region? Really? Alive or dead? The 4 Symbols Dao Emperor, North Monarch Luan Bei, Monarch Taiyan, and the Great Sun Heavenly Emperor were startled. From a certain point of view, foreign beings were existences that had surpassed the 9th stage of the martial path. Furthermore, this news wasn't completely untrustworthy. That was because there were many records in the ancient books of the Qin Yun realm. In the history of the Qin Yun realm, There had been many foreign creatures, and each of them was incomparably powerful, enough to crush an era. There were even creatures from the outer realms that dominated the 9 prefectures of the Heaven Realm and the extraterritorial demon race. Only Xing Luo's eyes flickered slightly, but his expression didn't change much. He had interacted with people from the outer realms before. Naturally, an outer realm being wouldn't cause much of a stir. Of course it's alive. Furthermore, for some unknown reason, that creature seemed to have suffered extremely serious injuries. I once fought against it, and in my haste, I almost didn't manage to return. Ghost Emperor Zhen Tian said with lingering fear. If it's the East Continent, isn't it the territory of 7 Stars Ghost and Old Man Tianyuan? Didn't they notice? Emperor Taiyan was a little surprised. An outer realm being couldn't possibly appear in the East Continent without alerting anyone, right? Don't underestimate the outer realm being. I've been to its territory a few times, but I didn't notice it at all. It was only until the last time that I discovered it for some unknown reason that I didn't know. Ghost Emperor Zhen Tian said. Speaking of 7 Stars Ghost and Old Man Tianyuan, have you heard about what happened in the East Continent recently? Emperor Luan suddenly asked. Of course we wouldn't have heard about such a huge incident in the East Continent. The 4 symbols Tao Emperors and the others nodded. 7 Stars Ancient Emperors 7 Stars Ancient Kingdom had been annexed and replaced. Emperor God Tianyuan had personally led an army out, but the entire army had been annihilated. The sudden rise of the sacred dragon sect had piqued their curiosity. Wasn't that person sent by you? Great Sun Heavenly Emperor looked at the 4 symbols Tao Emperors, Ghost Emperor Zhen Tian and Emperor Luan. When the Emperor Taiyan Emperor heard this, he remained calm and collected. Among the 6 of them, Xing Luo and Ghost Emperor Zhen Tian were from the East Continent. Emperor Taiyan was from the South Continent. As for Great Sun Heavenly Emperor, he was the ancient emperor of the demon race from the North Continent. The strength of the experts in the East, South, West, and North continents was basically the same. To be able to kill a late-stage ancient emperor, only the middle ground had the ability to do so. Of course, the Great Sun Heavenly Emperor and Great Sun Heavenly Emperor were only looking at Ghost Emperor Zhen Tian and the other 2. As for Xing Luo, he was alone and had not created his own force, so he was automatically excluded. At our level, do you think it's useful to go to the other continents and snatch the resources of 1 or 2 ancient kingdoms? Especially when the opponent is an ancient emperor of the same level. Ghost Emperor Zhen Tian, 4 symbols Tao Emperors, and Emperor Luan looked at each other and said slowly. That's a little strange. What is the background of such a powerful existence that suddenly appeared? Great Sun Heavenly Emperor and Emperor Taiyan felt that it made sense. Just like how they wouldn't casually invade a force led by an ancient emperor, the forces of the central continent didn't seem to have the need to do so either. The people of the East Continent will deal with it. As long as he doesn't stop us from dealing with the beings of the outer regions, we don't have to care about his background. We'll find out in the future anyway. Xing Luo said. Indeed. Since he has appeared, it's obvious that he has plans to establish his own sect. He will definitely appear in the future. 4 symbols Tao Emperors said. If that's the case, let's plan and prepare to move. Immediately, Ghost Emperor Zhen Tian began to explain the plan that he had prepared. Half a month later. Sacred Dragon Sect, Imperial City of the 7 Stars Ancient Kingdom. Is this news true? Qin Yu, who was called out by Pam Hong and the others from his seclusion, looked at the report in his hand and narrowed his eyes. Whether it's the East Continent, the South Continent, or the Central Continent, it has been verified. There's no mistake, Pam Hong and Taishu Kong said solemnly. 6 ancient emperors working together? What are they trying to do? Qin Yu muttered to himself. Xing Luo and the other 5 had come to the East Continent together. Although he didn't know what they were up to, he had to be wary. Master, why don't you go and lie low for a while? Pam Hong and Tai Shu Kong looked at Qin Yu. They were worried that Qin Yu's identity had been discovered. Qin Yu now had the battle strength to kill the older generation ancient emperors. However, the 6 older generation ancient emperors had joined forces. More importantly, there was Xing Luo, who was as famous as Qin Yu. If Qin Yu was surrounded, it would be troublesome. Judging from their actions, it doesn't seem like they're here for me. Qin Yu shook his head after reading the secret letter. If his identity was exposed, it wouldn't be just the 6 ancient emperors working together. Moreover, their whereabouts wouldn't be discovered by Pam Hong and the other forces. Back in the graveyard of the immortal god, there had been no news of the gathering of ancient emperors. Chapter 638. Master, it's better to be safe than sorry, Pam Hong said. Don't worry. I have a backup plan. If they're coming for me, I'll find a way to escape. Now, keep an eye on them. I'd like to see what they're up to. Qin Yu ordered, interrupting Pam Hong and Tai Shu Kong. Yes. Pam Hong and Tai Shu Kong could only agree helplessly. The next day, Ghost Emperor Zhen Tian and the other ancient emperors found out what they were up to. Although the 6 of them did not come to the East Continent openly, they did not hide their whereabouts either. After all, in the entire 9 continents of the Heaven Realm, the 6 of them could definitely destroy any force. It was even possible for them to rule over a continent. The older generation ancient emperors of the Middle Continent and the other continents had different combat strength even if their cultivation base was the same. Otherwise, the Middle Continent would not be the strongest continent in the 9 prefectures. They went to the cold plain? Does that mean they're going for the Azure Ice Beast? Qin Yu immediately reacted. When he had moved long how away from the cold plain, the Azure Ice Beast had appeared. Although he did not touch it, Qin Yu could sense the aura of the Azure Ice Beast and the Ghost Emperor Zhen Tian. It seemed like the Ghost Emperor Zhen Tian, Xing Luo, and the others had teamed up to target the Azure Ice Beast. Creatures from the other continents. Qin Yu's eyes lit up. Judging from the Dragon Emperor's inheritance, the Azure Ice Beast was definitely a creature from the other continents. It was so powerful that it could severely injure the Dragon Emperor. Of course, the Azure Ice Beast must have been severely injured by the Dragon Emperor's attack. One of its beast horns was even cut off by the Dragon Emperor. The Ghost Emperor Zhen Tian must have noticed that the Azure Ice Beast was injured. That was why he had teamed up with Xing Luo and the others. Qin Yu immediately made up his mind to go to the cold plain. Xing Luo, the Ghost Emperor Zhen Tian, the 4 Symbols Dao Emperor, and the others were all in the advanced Ancient Emperor realm. They were only a step away from the complete Ancient Emperor realm. If they could obtain some kind of opportunity from the Azure Ice Beast, they might be able to reach the peak Ancient Emperor realm. This was not a good thing for Qin Yu. One had to know that although this possibility wasn't great, it wasn't impossible. They couldn't ignore it. After making some preparations, Qin Yu arranged Pan Hong and Tai Shu Kong's escape route and left the Imperial City. Woo woo woo! The howling, bone-chilling wind was like a sharp blade, cutting one's skin painfully. Even an Emperor Realm Master would feel a bone-piercing chill when they came to frozen Yu plains. Only by stepping into the Ancient Emperor Realm would one be able to use Dao techniques to resist the howling cold wind. In the depths of the snowy plains, 6 figures broke through the air and flew over. The howling cold wind and snowstorm around them couldn't harm them at all. These 6 people were none other than Star Luo and the other ancient emperors from the central region. It's very close. It should be around here. After Ghost Emperor Zhen Tian finished speaking, he formed a seal with both hands. Ferocious ghost runes spread out from his body and formed ferocious evil ghosts that spread out in all directions. Those evil spirits did not seem to have a physical body. Whether it was the cold wind, the blizzard, or the earth, they could easily penetrate them. Jie, suddenly, a strange cry of an evil spirit came from somewhere, but it stopped abruptly. However, Star Luo and the other ancient emperors were powerful existences. Naturally, they detected it instantly and appeared at the place where the evil spirit had disappeared. Boom! Ghost Emperor Zhentian suddenly struck out with his palm. Monstrous ghost chi swept out and instantly annihilated the snowy plains within a radius of 1,000,000 miles. Beneath the snowfield was an underground world of glaciers. Through the layers of ice, one could see countless wisps of blue cold air rising from the glacier. It seemed like the glacier under their feet existed in another space and time. Roar! When Ghost Emperor Zhentian discovered the glacier under the snowy plains, a beast roar that shook the 9 heavens suddenly resounded. It was the blue cold air that seeped out from under the glacier. In an instant, a giant ice beast that was tens of thousands of feet tall appeared. With a monstrous divine aura, it suddenly suppressed Star Luo and the other ancient emperors. No wonder I felt something was wrong last time. A strange light flashed in Ghost Emperor Zhentian's eyes. He had felt something strange during their last battle. Now it seemed that the blue Qian ice beast's true body was hidden under the glacier. The giant ice beast in front of him was nothing more than a puppet formed by the ice and snow condensed by the deep blue frost energy. Let's deal with this giant ice beast. Ghost Emperor, you break this barrier. Star Luo glanced at the layer of ice beneath their feet, then charged towards the giant ice beast. The 4 symbols Tao Emperor and the other ancient emperors didn't stay idle either. They also charged out. Among the 6 of them, Ghost Emperor Zhentian was the most accomplished in formation Tao and boundary Tao. In the past, Ghost Emperor Zhentian was strong enough to fight Dragon God Emperor Qin Yu head-on in terms of formations. Rumble! As Star Luo and the other ancient emperors attacked, the giant ice beast that had beaten Ghost Emperor Zhentian so badly that he almost couldn't return last time met its match. The destructive battle exploded in the void. The sky trembled violently and showed signs of collapsing and becoming unstable. As Star Luo and the other ancient emperors fought the giant ice beast, Ghost Emperor Zhentian didn't hesitate. He touched the layer of ice with both hands. Ancient ghostly runes appeared in his palms and spread out in all directions at an incredible speed. Soon, the layer of ice within 10,000 miles was sealed by the ghostly runes and turned into a mysterious ancient formation. Break! After sensing for a while, Ghost Emperor Zhentian let out a low roar. Immediately, all the ghost runes glowed. The sound of cracking filled the air. Those ghost tattoos were like blades, directly cutting into the ice layer. Soon, cracking sounds rang out as the layer of ice within 10,000 miles shattered inch by inch. Ghost Emperor Zhentian and the other ancient emperors saw the underground glacier. Let's go! Ghost Emperor Zhentian's eyes flashed when he saw the broken layer of ice recovering quickly. He immediately charged into the underground glacier. Star Luo and the other ancient emperors also smashed the giant ice beast together and entered the underground glacier. After the giant ice beast was shattered, it turned into ice and snow. However, it recovered in the next instant and chased after Star Luo and the other ancient emperors into the underground glacier. After a few breaths, the glacier recovered and a cold wind blew in, covering the layer of ice. However, as soon as the layer of ice was completely covered, a cold light flashed in the air and disappeared into the ice boundary. Roar! Roar! Ghost Emperor Zhentian and the other ancient emperors stopped in the air after charging into the underground glacier world. This was because they heard the roars of beasts as soon as they charged into the glacier world. The cold blue air in the glacier went berserk and condensed into strange blue beasts. Although the strange blue beasts weren't as big as the giant ice beast, the aura they exuded wasn't any weaker. These are all puppets. We have to find their true bodies. Tao Emperor 4 symbols and the other ancient emperors looked at the strange blue beasts with grave expressions. These strange blue beasts were probably like the giant ice beast. They couldn't be killed or sealed. If they couldn't find their true bodies, they would be in big trouble. Chapter 639. This place has a great suppressive effect on the power of Tao. The four symbols Tao Emperor's expression changed after he sensed it. The ancient Emperor realm was all about the control of heaven and earth. That was why the ancient Emperor realm's battle prowess came from Tao power. At the ancient Emperor realm, primordial energy could only be used as a supplement to Tao technique. But now, this glacial world was actually able to suppress the power of Tao. This would greatly suppress their battle prowess. Of course, this wasn't entirely a bad thing. After all, to be able to suppress Tao power in the sky region meant that the extraterritorial being had surpassed the 9th level of the martial path. If they could take it down, they might be able to reach the peak of the great circle of the ancient Emperor realm. Thank goodness! Ghost Emperor Zhen Tian rejoiced as he glanced at the ice barrier that had been completely restored. If he had brought the Ghost Emperor Holy Islands group instead of Xing Luo and the others, they wouldn't be in trouble. They would be dead for sure. From the aura of the chilling mutated beasts in the surroundings, a late-stage ancient emperor would definitely die if he barged in. Among the 6 of them, only Xing Luo looked at the chilling beasts calmly. There wasn't the slightest hint of worry on his face. The chilling beasts were indeed dangerous, but they weren't on the same level as the Rakshasa Crown Prince and the Blood Demon. Of course, Xing Luo was so calm because he had absolute confidence in his trump card. Boom, boom, boom. While Ghost Emperor Zhen Tian and the others were discussing through voice transmission, the giant chilling beasts went berserk and attacked Xing Luo and the others with destructive attack. That frightening power caused the empty space of the glacier world to become like the surface of the water, with layers upon layers of waves appearing. If we can't seal it and can instantly recover, then we can only destroy the chilling chi. Don't hold back anymore. Let's end this quickly, Xing Luo said as his eyes darkened. Then, a terrifying dragon's aura burst out and swept across the space. The illusory image of a berserk dragon circled around Xing Luo's body. Star Luo took a step forward, and numerous afterimages appeared as he dodged the attacks of the frosty beasts. In the blink of an eye, he appeared on top of one of the frosty beasts and punched out. Roar! Accompanied by an incomparably loud dragon roar, the wild dragon around Xing Luo's body followed his fist and forcefully blasted into the icy exotic beast's body. Rumble! Immediately, a violent and deafening explosion resounded. That ice-cold exotic beast exploded into pieces. At that instant, extremely destructive ripples began to spread from the center of the explosion in an unending stream. The chilling aura that the ice beast had transformed into was annihilated inch by inch after being distorted. Fiend's Star Divine Hand. Gu Demon Witchcraft. Fire Cloud Immortal Force. Seeing that Star Luo's attack was effective, the 5 Tao Emperors of 4 symbols unleashed their own ultimate move. Incomparably violent destructive power exploded forth. Under the attacks of the Tao Emperors of 4 symbols and the others, the icy beasts were annihilated one after another. Even if a few of them recovered in an instant, they could not withstand 2 attacks. Of course, although the chilling exotic beasts were successively killed, the situation of the 6 of them wasn't much better because of this. This was because more and more chilling exotic beasts continued to gather in this world of ice. It looked as though there was no end to them. In fact, the number of chilling exotic beasts was increasing and gradually exceeded the number that they had barged into this world of ice. Come out! After unleashing a series of killer moves, Xing Luo, who was in his half-dragon form and covered in dragon scales, had a strange look in his eyes. Suddenly, he turned into a beam of light and charged towards a certain place in this world of ice. A divine fist blasted towards a certain glacier. Crack! After withstanding Xing Luo's destructive attack, only a few cracks appeared on the glacier. Moreover, there was a vast and boundless cold aura emitting from the crack in the glacier. Accompanying the chilling aura was an aura that caused even late-stage ancient emperors to feel fear. It was as though a demon king from hell had been awakened. Ghost Emperor Gentian and the others, who were fighting against the chilling exotic beasts, felt a chill in their hearts. A bone-chilling sense of danger rose in their hearts. Bang 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 bang, after the terrifying aura emerged, the chilling exotic beasts in this world of ice exploded one after another. They turned into chilling aura and merged with the chilling aura that was surging out. The four symbols Tao Emperor, Ghost Emperor Gentian, and the other four flashed and appeared behind Xing Luo. They looked at the chilling aura that was surging out with solemn expressions. They could sense an extremely terrifying aura from the chilling aura. It was as though some kind of heaven-defying spirit was about to charge out from the chilling aura. This aura, Xing Luo's expression changed. He seemed to have sensed something. Appear. Xing Luo's right hand moved, and an ancient talisman appeared in his hand. The ancient talisman looked like jade and stone. It was engraved with profound Tao runes. It looked extremely profound. An immortal treasure. Ghost Emperor Gentian, the four symbols Tao Emperor, and the others were shocked when they saw the ancient talisman. Was Xing Luo planning to use an immortal treasure to deal with this foreign creature? Wang. With a thought, the ancient talisman flew into the sky and charged into the surging, chilling aura. In the next moment, the ancient talisman emitted a dazzling divine light that illuminated the entire world of ice. The surging, chilling aura was also illuminated thoroughly. The scene inside was clear as day. That's Ghost Emperor Gentian, the four symbols Tao Emperor, and the others focused their gazes on a certain spot in the surging, chilling aura. There was a crystalline ice beast that looked like it was made of profound ice. It stared at them with a ferocious expression. The ice beast was about 3 meters long and looked like a profound cat. Its eyes were blue and it had 2 horns on its head. However, half of one of its horns was missing, making it look a little strange. An azure ice beast. Qin Yu, who had disguised himself in a glacier somewhere in this world of ice, immediately understood when he saw the ice beast that had lost one of its horns. Clearly, this mysterious cat-like ice beast was the extraterrestrial creature that had severely injured the Dragon Emperor, the creator of the Eternal Dragon Nation. It was the Azure Ice Beast. A strange look flashed across Qin Yu's eyes. It seemed like he had made the right decision to take the risk and come here. The Azure Ice Beast might actually contain the opportunity to break through to the ancient Emperor realm. If that was the case, he couldn't let the Azure Ice Beast fall into the hands of Xing Luo and the others. Is this the true form of the Ice Beast? Ghost Emperor Gentian and the others were excited. If they could find the true form of the Azure Ice Beast, it would be much easier for the 6 of them to deal with it. Chapter 640. Roar. The Blue Qian Ice Beast, whose body had been revealed by the light, roared angrily towards the sky. Waves of sound waves continuously spread out. Tens of thousands of icy blades began to form in the surging frosty air. Every cold blade had a vague, twisting, cold pattern on it. Whoosh 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 whoosh, then, they shot toward Xing Luo's ancient Tao talisman like arrows piercing through the heart. Clanging sounds rang out incessantly, echoing throughout the glacier. As expected of an outsider, Xing Luo's expression changed slightly when he saw this. He glanced at the Emperor Taiyan beside him. The Emperor Taiyan understood and formed a seal with his hands. Crack. Finally, a crack appeared on Xing Luo's ancient talisman artifact under the onslaught of countless cold blades. What terrifying power! The Sky Suppression Ghost Emperor and the others' expressions changed when they saw this. Immortal treasures were refined by ancient immortals from the immortal ancient era using divine items. Even for late-stage ancient emperors like them, it wasn't easy for them to destroy an immortal treasure. However, the Blue Qian Ice Beast was able to easily destroy the ancient Tao talisman with a mere blade of frosty air. The Blue Qian Ice Beast was stronger than they'd expected. It was no wonder that those strange cold air beasts were able to stop them earlier. Rumble. Soon, the ancient talisman immortal treasure, which had more and more cracks, exploded. Violent, destructive immortal aura swept out in all directions, covering the frosty air around the blue Qian ice beast. The light that had originally illuminated the entire world of ice had also disappeared. Whoosh! Almost at the same moment the ancient talisman exploded, the Emperor's soul divergence suddenly attacked. A ray of light pierced through the void and entered the blue Qian ice beast's body, disappearing in an instant. Did he succeed in planting the secret perception curse? However, even without the light of the ancient Tao talisman, the Sky Suppression Ghost Emperor and the others could still sense it. Xing Luo, the Sky Suppression Ghost Emperor, the Four Symbols Tao Emperor, and the others easily sensed the blue Qian ice beast's true body without being disturbed by the frosty air. The Grand Yin Emperor Lord was the most skilled of the six when it came to tracking and concealment. That was why Star Luo had asked him to take action. Roar! The blue Qian ice beast roared again, as if it had sensed the perception imprint in its body. The sound waves swept through the void like a hurricane. A ka-ka-ka icy sound appeared. The cold aura that was originally surrounding the blue Qian ice beast began to gather in a crazy manner. It quickly transformed into a mysterious ice beast armor that adhered to the blue Qian ice beast's body. From the looks of it, it was as if the blue Qian ice beast was wearing a profound ice armor. Originally, the blue Qian ice beast was only about 3 meters long. After putting on the Qian ice beast armor, it grew to a height of 1.5 meters. It looked majestic. At the very least, it is equivalent to the Great Circle of the ancient Emperor realm. After the blue Qian ice beast appeared in the form of a profound ice beast armor, the Sky Suppression Ghost Emperor, the Four Symbols Tao Emperor, and the others immediately sensed the blue Qian ice beast's cultivation, and their expressions turned grave. A Great Circle Ancient Emperor had yet to appear in the heaven domain. They had late-stage ancient emperors behind them, and they roughly knew how terrifying a Great Circle Ancient Emperor was. Most importantly, the blue Qian ice beast's cultivation was only at the Great Circle of the ancient Emperor realm. As for the true limit of his strength, it was still impossible for him to detect it. On the other hand, Xing Luo's expression did not change much. He was currently sizing up the world of ice. It was as if he did not care about the blue Qian ice beast's terrifying cultivation. Whoosh! 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 The blue Qian ice beast revealed its true form, and its eyes flashed with a ferocious light. It did not waste any time and immediately attacked. The blue Qian ice beast's beast armor shone brightly. Countless profound ice runes flickered, and an overwhelming amount of cold light burst out. Every ray of cold light contained an incomparably terrifying power. It seemed like it could pierce through the void and annihilate everything. If they were not in the world of ice, that kind of destructive power would have been unimaginable. If they were in the outside world, the world would have been shattered, and the void would have been chaotic. Kill! At this point, the Sky Suppression Ghost Emperor, the Four Symbols Tao Emperor, and the others naturally did not hold back. They all unleashed their mystiques and attacked the blue Qian ice beast. They gathered the destructive power of their mystiques to the extreme, and then blasted it out with the greatest power. In an instant, the world of ice was once again turned into a zone of destruction. Even an ordinary ancient emperor would not be able to survive if they entered this zone. Although the blue Qian ice beast's cultivation was terrifying, the Sky Suppression Ghost Emperor and the other four did not retreat. They were not afraid at all. They were able to reach where they were today because of the endless mountains of corpses and seas of blood. Once they had made up their minds, they would not waver. Moreover, the blue Qian ice beast's strength might indeed contain a heaven-defying opportunity that could allow them to break through to the late-stage ancient emperor realm. With such a temptation in front of them, they naturally had to give it their all. However, Xing Luo was still sizing up the world of ice. He did not interfere in the destructive battle. If one took a closer look, they would notice that there was a figure in the blue Qian ice beast's eyes. In the depths of Xing Luo's right eye, there was a vague figure sitting cross-legged. The figure was sizing up the world of ice that Xing Luo was looking at. If one took a closer look, they would see that the figure in the depths of Xing Luo's right eye was also Xing Luo. However, the Xing Luo in the depths of Xing Luo's right eye seemed to have come through the endless void. There was an obvious space-time distance between them. I see. After sizing up the world of ice, Xing Luo's gaze fell on the blue Qian ice beast that was fighting against the Sky Suppression Ghost Emperor and the other four. A strange look flashed in his eyes. The Xing Luo figure sitting cross-legged in the depths of Xing Luo's right eye disappeared. What was that aura just now? However, Xing Luo did not discover that Qin Yu, who was hidden within the glacier, was also sizing him up with an unmoving expression. In fact, the strange look in Qin Yu's eyes was even more intense than Xing Luo's. This was because the aura that Xing Luo had released earlier had made Qin Yu's hair stand on end. It was a feeling that came from the depths of his bones. It was a feeling that he was no match for Xing Luo. Even when Qin Yu was surrounded and killed in the immortal god graveyard in his previous life, he had never sensed it. Moreover, when Qin Yu fought with Xing Luo in the ancient devil race's ancestral land, he had never sensed such a feeling from Xing Luo. What happened to Xing Luo just now? Rumble. At this moment, a deafening explosion sounded. A figure was sent flying out of the chaotic battlefield. Along the way, the violent power of the Tao spread and shook the void. The person who was sent flying was the Great Sun Celestial Emperor. Even though the Great Sun Celestial Emperor had activated the demon race's bloodline in his body and was already half demonized, he was still injured. However, after taking a direct hit from the blue Qian ice beast, he was still heavily injured. Bloody wounds appeared all over his body and blood splattered everywhere. Chapter 641. Rumble. However, the Great Sun Heavenly Emperor's attack gave the Sky Suppression Ghost Emperor and the others a chance. The four of them immediately used their trump cards and attacked the blue Qian ice beast with all their might. The blue Qian ice beast was forced to retreat, and its aura was obviously a little chaotic. However, compared to the injuries suffered by the Great Sun Heavenly Emperor, the injuries suffered by the blue Qian ice beast were not worth mentioning at all. What a terrifying defense! We have to find a way to break its profound ice beast armor. The Sky Suppression Ghost Emperor and the four symbols Tao Emperors looked very serious. They had clearly seen that 70 to 80% of the might of the violent destructive Tao technique attacks they had executed had been absorbed by the blue Qian ice beast's mystic ice beast armor. The blue Qian ice beast was only injured by 10 to 20%. This was not enough to cause any fatal injuries to the blue Qian ice beast. Mad Dragon, you've been watching for so long. Have you found any flaws in this ice beast? The Sky Suppression Ghost Emperor couldn't help but look at the Mad Dragon Imperial Emperor, Xing Luo. They all knew that Xing Luo cultivated a mystique that allowed him to see through any opponent's flaws. Xing Luo had been watching for so long, so he should have noticed something. I didn't find any flaws, but I found a more fatal weakness. A smile appeared on Xing Luo's face. The blue Qian ice beast was obviously a veteran. No matter if it was a mystique or mystique, there was no flaw to be found. However, Xing Luo had just found a fatal weakness that could kill the blue Qian ice beast. What's the fatal weakness? The Sky Suppression Ghost Emperor and the others' eyes lit up. To be honest, even with Xing Luo's help, they didn't think it would be easy to defeat the blue Qian ice beast. As for capturing it, they would have to pay a huge price. Unless it was absolutely necessary, the Sky Suppression Ghost Emperor and the others naturally didn't want to pay such a huge price. After all, they were here to find an opportunity to break through to the ancient Emperor realm. If their cultivation base and Tao arts were damaged because of this, it wouldn't be worth it. This ice beast's power comes from the gloomy plains, Xing Luo said slowly. The power of the gloomy plains? That can't be right. Could it be that this ice beast isn't from the outer realm? Ghost Emperor Jin Tian, the four symbols Tao Emperor, and the others were startled. Star Luo's words were beyond their expectations. They found it hard to believe that a native of the heaven realm could have such a shocking cultivation. Although I don't know what's going on, this ice beast is indeed absorbing the energy of the frozen plains. Furthermore, there's an extremely frightening energy rampaging within the ice beast's body. If it wasn't for the fact that we had to suppress the rampaging energy, I think that we would have already lost our lives here. Xing Luo said. In that case, this ice beast from another domain is injured? North Emperor Luan looked at the blue Qian ice beast that had lost a corner and was extremely shocked. Despite being injured, he was still able to resist the combined attacks of the five of them and even had the upper hand. How terrifying would it be if it was at its peak? Even if it was a creature from the outer realm, wasn't this strength a little too shocking? In other words, if we cut off the power of the ice beast and ghastly plane, it will be enough to suppress the ice beast? The four symbols Tao Emperor was also shocked, but he soon understood what Xing Luo meant by the death spot. The blue Qian ice beast had to suppress the rampaging energy within its body as long as the energy of ghastly plane was cut off. That meant that it would be attacked from both inside and outside. At that time, it wouldn't be able to cause any trouble. No wonder they set up this barrier here. So that's what they meant. Ghost Emperor Jin Tian raised his head and looked at the ice barrier that covered a radius of 10,000 miles. The ice barrier wasn't just to conceal the blue Qian ice beast's presence and aura. More importantly, it was to absorb the energy of Ghastly Plain. Ghastly Plain wasn't just the largest world of ice and snow in the East Continent. In fact, no place in the Heaven Realm's 9 prefectures had more ice than this place. Let's suppress it. Ghost Emperor Jin Tian, you go and destroy this barrier completely. Don't let it recover. Do it quickly and don't let it have a chance to escape. The blue Qian ice beast's aura was getting more and more terrifying, as if it was preparing some super powerful killing technique. Xing Luo said to Ghost Emperor Jin Tian, and the primordial dragon possessed him. Die. At this moment, the blue Qian ice beast spoke in human language. Along with the bone-chilling voice, ice crystal chains filled with cold air appeared from the blue Qian ice beast's beast armor. Like a group of demons dancing in a frenzy, they pounced toward Xing Luo and the others. Vaguely, the ice crystal chains formed some kind of mysterious ancient formation that enveloped them. The situation was just as Xing Luo had expected. The blue Qian ice beast saw that something was wrong and used a super powerful killing technique. The ancient formation formed by the ice crystal chains contained the extraordinary space Tao. As it enveloped them, it seemed to be able to suppress the entire world. Roar. Accompanied by a dragon's roar that resounded through the 9 heavens, Xing Luo, who was possessed by the primordial dragon, transformed into a 1,000-foot-long primordial dragon and soared into the sky with the invincible might of the dragon clan. The ice crystal chain array that was descending toward them blocked their path in midair. 4 Symbols Circuit. The Tao Emperor of 4 Symbols growled when he saw this. Thousands of Tao runes bloomed all over his body and danced in the sky, turning the space around him into a 4 Symbols ancient formation. Within the ancient formation, flowers, plants, birds, beasts, mountains, rivers, and the earth, the sun, the moon, and the stars, the cycle of life and death. The Tao Emperor of 4 Symbols had comprehended the Tao of the 4 Symbols of the universe. Being able to use the Tao of the 4 Symbols to create all things in the universe was extremely wondrous. No one could find a way to counter him. God suppresses the world, the North Emperor of Chaos muttered as his hands formed a seal. A sacred and inviolable aura emanated from him. The image of a god manifested behind the North Emperor of Chaos. It had a divine might that could suppress the 9 heavens and 10 earth. It was the image of a primordial god that the North Emperor of Chaos had obtained from a primordial divine ruin. Rumor had it that the true spirit of a god was slumbering within the image of the primordial god. Great Sun Golden Crow, the Great Sun Celestial Emperor, who was covered in blood, no longer held back. The dried blood in his body turned into dark golden flames and burned fiercely. In an instant, the Great Sun Celestial Emperor turned into a man of fire. It was as if he had condensed into a blazing sun. Within the blazing sun, a crisp chirp could be heard. One could vaguely see a golden crow spreading its wings, ready to take flight. The Great Sun Celestial Emperor had comprehended the Tao of the Great Sun. He also possessed the bloodline power of the Golden Crow clan. When the two merged, he could transform into a great sun golden crow that could destroy the heavens and earth. Heaven amplification divine art. The Emperor Taiyan Emperor also transformed into a beam of light and rushed out. Among the five, the Emperor Taiyan Emperor looked the most ordinary. However, the Emperor Taiyan's body was filled with a mysterious power. Chapter 642. The Emperor Lord of Taiyan had originally walked the Tao of divination. However, when he ascended to the ancient Emperor realm, his Tao changed from the Tao of divination to the art of divination. It was similar to the Four Symbols Tao Emperor's Four Symbols world cycle, but it was actually very different. The Emperor Lord of Taiyan's art of divination could not only create things, but also reverse them. In other words, it could reverse one's Tao to its origin, and also evolve it to its peak. During the battle in the graveyard of the immortal god, the Emperor Lord of Taiyan was the only ancient emperor who had not been injured by Qin Yu's secret art of war dragons. Rumble. The Blue Qian Ice Beast's original plan to trap Xing Luo and the others in a profound crystal cage with a secret technique was completely ruined. The crystal cage was blocked by Xing Luo alone, while the Azure Ice Beast was blocked by the Four Symbols Tao Emperors. They could only watch helplessly as the Tao Emperors of Four Symbols scurried about and destroyed the formation points of the ice barrier one by one. Their cultivation has improved a lot. Qin Yu, who had completely concealed his aura, watched the battle from the shadows. He compared the strength of the five ancient emperors. He discovered that the five ancient emperors were much stronger than when they had surrounded him in the graveyard of the immortal god. Of course, the ones who had improved the most were the Four Symbols Tao Emperors. The Great Sun Celestial Emperor and the Emperor Lord of Taiyan were weaker than the ancient emperors of the Central Plains. However, Qin Yu was very concerned about the terrifying aura that Xing Luo had exuded. Xing Luo's current aura was far from the terrifying aura he had exuded before. When comparing the progress of their cultivation, Qin Yu was also able to tell that, if the battle continued like this, the Azure Ice Beast's defeat was only a matter of time. As expected, after a few breaths of time, a loud explosion came from above. The ice barrier that covered an area of tens of thousands of square meters exploded, turning into fragments that danced in the air and dissipated. The whistling ice and snow swept in, obscuring everyone's vision. It's finally broken. The Four Symbols Tao monarchs, North Monarch Luan, and the others were startled. This was because they could clearly sense that the aura of the Blue Qian Ice Beast had become chaotic after the ice boundary was shattered. At this moment, even they were able to clearly sense the chaotic energy within the Blue Gone Ice Beast's body that Xing Luo had mentioned. This is the power of the Dragon Emperor? With a thought from Qin Yu, the violent energy fluctuations coming from the Blue Qian Ice Beast were none other than the energy left behind by the Dragon Emperor. It seemed that the Dragon Emperor had not only cut off a corner of the Blue Qian Ice Beast, but he had also left something in its body. At this time, Qin Yu could clearly feel that something in his spatial ring was emitting a light trembling sound. This caused Qin Yu's eyes to light up, and the corners of his mouth even revealed a smile. All of you are courting death? The Blue Qian Ice Beast once again spoke in human language. A dense bone-chilling killing intent caused Xing Luo's group to feel a chill in their hearts. The blue Qian ice beast's blue eyes shone with a dazzling blue light that was blinding to the eyes. Xing Luo and the others felt a piercing pain in their eyes, and they could not help but retreat. However, at this moment, the sound of something breaking through the air could be heard. 6 rays of light that were completely blue and contained twisting frost runes attacked Xing Luo and the others at an extremely fast speed. Pfft. Xing Luo and the others were immediately severely injured, and they were sent flying hundreds of miles away. Blood spurted out of their mouths, and their auras became weak and chaotic. If one could see through them, they would be able to see through them. There was a ball of blue light in each of their bodies, and it turned into billions of blue light threads that were wreaking havoc in their limbs and bones, constantly destroying their vitality. The ball of blue light was so ferocious that even the Sky Suppression Ghost Emperor and the other late-stage ancient emperors could not withstand it. They tried their best to suppress it. "This is a good chance." Qin Yu, who was hiding in the dark, saw this, and his eyes shone brightly. Right now, Xing Luo and the others were not only severely injured, but they were also severely injured. This was definitely the best time to make a move. With Qin Yu's current cultivation and the ancestral demon statue's battle strength, he definitely had a chance to kill Xing Luo and the others. Mystic body, unseal. However, right at the moment when Qin Yu was about to move, Xing Luo suddenly let out a low shout and revealed his true body. That ancient era's wild dragon's silhouette also completely surged into his body. In the blink of an eye, Xing Luo's originally weak aura became extremely strong. Whoosh! Xing Luo, whose body was being ravaged by the blue light, took a step forward and crossed the void, charging at the blue Qian ice beast with lightning speed. Rumble! The blue Qian ice beast, who was still suppressing the ancient power of the Dragon Emperor in its body, was caught off guard and was sent flying by Xing Luo's attack. That's Qin Yu, who was about to escape from the glacier, quickly stopped when he saw this scene. His eyes were filled with shock. "Why, you have an immortal body?" The blue Qian ice beast, who had been sent flying, was also a little stunned and looked at Xing Luo in disbelief. At this moment, Xing Luo's vitality was recovering faster than the blue light was destroying it. One had to know that the blue Qian ice beast's frost divine power could easily kill the Sky region's ancient emperor. Such monstrous vitality shocked even the blue Qian ice beast, who had come from another region. Master's indestructible mystic body? What's going on? Why would Master pass this mystic art to Xing Luo? No, even if Master passed it to him, Xing Luo shouldn't be able to cultivate it without the indestructible mystic body. What's going on? The blue Qian ice beast didn't know, but Qin Yu could see the reason. The mystic art that Xing Luo was using now was Qin Yu's master's unparalleled forbidden art. It was on par with the immortal sacrifice art. It was rumored that those who successfully cultivated this forbidden art would have an immortal body. No matter what kind of injury they suffered, they would be able to recover in an instant. It wasn't something like regrowing limbs or mystic arts could compare to. The indestructible mystic body could cultivate the indestructible mystic body, which would allow one's vitality to never be extinguished. Back then, Qin Yu's master had said that this mystic art was obtained from the ancient immortal ruins. It was a pure immortal mystic art that could only be cultivated with the indestructible mystic body. However, Qin Yu's master had obtained a wisp of the indestructible mystic body. He had refined it and cultivated it into the indestructible mystic body. Unless Qin Yu's master had destroyed his own divine body and passed the indestructible mystic body to Xing Luo. Otherwise, Xing Luo wouldn't have been able to cultivate the indestructible mystic body. 7 styles of immortal slaying. While the blue Qian ice beast was still in shock, Xing Luo suddenly charged forward again. Dazzling saber-like blades of Dao condensed and slashed at the blue Qian ice beast. This was also Qin Yu's master's mystic art. Although it couldn't compare to the immortal sacrifice art or the indestructible mystic body, it was still in the top 10. However, its power was among the best in the heaven domain. Only the heaven-burying sword immortal's heaven-burying sword art could compete with it. Chapter 643. Heaven and Earth Cage. The Blue Qian Ice Beast did not have the time to deal with Xing Luo as the Dragon Emperor's ancient power rampaged within its body. The Blue Qian Ice Beast roared, and countless dazzling blue lights surged into heaven and earth. The Blue Qian Ice Beast took control of the power of heaven and earth in this world of ice and turned it into a cage that flew toward Xing Luo, who was charging toward him. Rumble. Although Xing Luo's attack was terrifying, it could not break through the power of heaven and earth, and was stopped by the heaven and earth cage. The Blue Qian Ice Beast turned into a ray of blue light and was about to escape. Whoosh! However, at this moment, a ray of light flashed out of the void and stopped the Blue Qian Ice Beast. It was Qin Yu. After seeing that Xing Luo had cultivated the indestructible body, Qin Yu changed his mind about dealing with the 6 of them. With Qin Yu's current strength, even with the power of the primogenitor golem, he could not kill Xing Luo, who had the indestructible body. Since that was the case, Qin Yu did not want to alert the enemy. Moreover, the Blue Qian Ice Beast was indeed an alien, and it was injured. If Xing Luo caught up to it, it might really be taken away by Xing Luo. Of course, this was not what Qin Yu wanted to see. Therefore, Qin Yu directly attacked the Blue Qian Ice Beast. As for Xing Luo and the other 5, he would deal with them after he recovered his cultivation base. Whoosh! Qin Yu's sudden appearance stunned the Blue Qian Ice Beast, Xing Luo, and the others. They did not expect that there would be someone hiding in the dark. However, the Blue Qian Ice Beast was not in the mood to deal with anyone, no matter who it was. It cast the heaven and earth cage again and prepared to escape. However, upon seeing this, Qin Yu displayed a cold smile on his face. Seal! Qin Yu shouted, and an item appeared in his hand. It was the Blue Qian Ice Beast's broken horn. The broken horn had a seal left behind by the Dragon Emperor in the past. Before the Dragon Emperor passed away, he had set it up specifically to deal with the Blue Qian Ice Beast. Qin Yu did not know about it in the past, but when the Dragon Emperor's ancient power in the Blue Qian Ice Beast's body went berserk, the seal left behind by the Dragon Emperor was immediately lifted. Rumble! Qin Yu activated the seal in the broken horn, and the Blue Qian Ice Beast's body, a loud explosive sound. The Qian Ice Beast's body went berserk. Cold Ice Beast's ancient power. Qian Ice Beast. Clearly, it was a Qian Ice Beast was severely injured with it, a blow. The Qian Ice Beast's Ice Beast to the Qian Ice Beast. With it, Qian Luo's Dragon's Qian, Ice Qian with it Qian what is it Zhou Qian Ming to the ancient Qian Yi Luo's Luo, the Qian Ice Looming, Qian Ice Beast. In the blink of an eye, the Qian Ice Beast was brought back to the broken horn. After successfully sealing the Blue Qian Ice Beast, Qin Yu glanced coldly at Xing Luo and the others, then immediately flew away. This time, it was all thanks to Xing Luo and the others. Otherwise, even with the seal left behind by the Dragon Emperor, Qin Yu would not have been able to seal the Blue Qian Ice Beast so easily. How dare you snatch food from the tiger's mouth? As the Blue Qian Ice Beast was sealed, Xing Luo and the others' cold divine power was greatly weakened. Xing Luo, who had cultivated the indestructible mysterious sky body, took the lead and chased after Qin Yu. Ghost Emperor Sky Suppression, Dao Emperor 4 symbols, and the others suppressed their injuries and charged out of the void with murderous intent. They had worked hard to beat the Blue Qian Ice Beast to this extent. Now, someone dared to snatch food from their mouth. This person must be tired of living. However, the Sky Suppression Ghost Emperor, the 4 symbols Dao Emperor, and the others rushed out of the world of ice. The moment they returned to the cold plains, they immediately felt the world around them changing rapidly. This feeling made the Sky Suppression Ghost Emperor and the others' expressions change. In the next instant they appeared on an isolated island. In front of them was Xing Luo, who had been the first to chase after them. A teleportation array? The Sky Suppression Ghost Emperor's face twitched. His expression was extremely gloomy as he spoke with a murderous aura. In that instant they had sensed it. Obviously, the person who had snatched the Blue Qian ice beast had set up a teleportation array at the entrance of the ice layer. As soon as they rushed out, it would immediately activate and teleport them away. Not many people in the 9 prefectures in the Heaven Domain have such attainments in the array Dao, right? The 4 symbols Dao Emperor looked at the Sky Suppression Ghost Emperor and asked. One should know that they were among the top ancient emperors in the Heaven Domain. To be able to teleport all of them to this small island in an instant, they did not know where they were. Such attainments in the array Dao were probably not much weaker than the Sky Suppression Ghost Emperor. Even if they were prepared in advance, there should be no more than 3 people in the Heaven Domain who could do this except for me. The Sky Suppression Ghost Emperor nodded. The 4 symbols Dao Emperor and the others looked at each other when they heard this. This meant that those 3 people were the most suspicious. As long as they could find them, they might be able to find the Blue Qian ice beast. Of course, this is only on the surface. It's hard to say if there are people hiding in the dark. The Sky Suppression Ghost Emperor sighed. Since the other party had a way to capture the Blue Qian ice beast right under their noses and teleport all of them away in an instant, it was impossible. If that was the case, it would be almost impossible to find them now. Whether or not they are here, we have to investigate first, the Great Sun Celestial Emperor said viciously. He was the most severely injured in this battle. If he did not gain anything, it would be a great loss. You guys go and find that ice beast. I have something to do, so I'll take my leave first. Xing Luo, who was flying in the sky above the island, seemed to have confirmed the location. After he said that, he flew away. The Sky Suppression Ghost Emperor and the others were not surprised by this. Apart from dealing with the Dragon God Emperor, Qin Yu, they had never seen Xing Luo care about anything else. At this moment, somewhere in the East Continent, the void trembled. Array runes spread out and a figure appeared. It was Qin Yu, who had captured the Blue Qian ice beast. Qin Yu instantly sensed his surroundings. After confirming that there was no danger, he immediately flew away. As for Xing Luo and the others, Qin Yu did not know where they would be teleported to. The Sky Suppression Ghost Emperor was skilled in the array Dao. If it was a 2-way teleportation formation, it was highly likely that he would discover them and send them back. After leaving the teleportation formation, Qin Yu did not immediately return to the Holy Dragon sect. Although the Blue Qian ice beast was suppressed in the Dragon Emperor's seal, it did not give up on resisting. He could not be careless. Several days later, Qin Yu entered into an ancient desolate wilderness forest. He set up layers upon layers of barriers and entered the ancient divine dragon seal's space. After setting up layers of seals, Qin Yu took out the broken horn of the Blue Qian ice beast. Roar! When Qin Yu slightly loosened the spirit formation, a soul-shaking beast roar immediately resounded, causing one's heart to tremble. Shortly after, a distorted 7-colored radiance appeared. The Blue Qian ice beast actually charged out of the seal of the broken horn with difficulty. Chapter 644. You are not part of the dragon tribe. How did you get the seal of the sinister dragon? After the Blue Qian ice beast rushed out, it did not try to break through the 7-colored light. It just stared coldly at Qin Yu. Ancient dark blue runes fluctuated within those dark blue eyes, causing people to feel intimidated just by looking at them. Sinister dragon? Kiki, the emperor of the dragon tribe has become a sinister dragon in your mouth? You really dare to say that? Qin Yu chuckled. Looking at the Blue Qian ice beast that even the seal of the dragon emperor could not suppress, many thoughts flashed through his mind. A frog at the bottom of a well. Even the Shinran tribe, which has the purest divine blood, would not dare to call themselves the emperor of the dragon tribe. That sinister dragon only has a little divine blood, and it dares to call itself the emperor of the dragon tribe? Hearing Qin Yu's words, the blue Qian ice beast cannot help sneering disdainfully. It seems like you are very familiar with the situation in the outer region. Why don't we have a good talk? Qin Yu's eyes flashed. Qin Yu was also extremely curious about the outer regions, especially the location where Fairy Shuelon was located. It was very clear that she was located somewhere in the outer regions. Talk about what? Although the blue Qian ice beast could kill Qin Yu, who was only an ancient emperor, with a single slap when it was at its peak. But now, it could not suppress the ancient power of the dragon emperor in its body and was being destroyed. It was also sealed and could not escape. Even if it did not want to talk, it could only talk. Do you know this place? With an intention from Qin Yu, surging dragon aura swept through the ancient dragon god's seal and formed a world. It was a world of ice and snow. Under the world of ice and snow, there were countless ice and snow castles floating in the sky. This was the place where Qin Yu had last seen Fairy Shuelon. Without a doubt, if he knew this place, he would definitely be able to find Fairy Shuelon. This is... The blue Qian ice beast's expression changed slightly. Its blue eyes flashed with uncertainty as it looked at Qin Yu. It seems like you know this place. Where is this outer region? Qin Yu's eyes lit up as he asked. What's in it for me if I tell you? The blue Qian ice beast pondered for a moment before speaking slowly. What benefits do you want? Qin Yu also knew that the azure ice beast was not one of those savage beasts that had yet to develop intelligence. It would not be easy to deal with it. Disperse the power of the monstrous dragon in my body, then release me. Not only will I tell you where this place is, I will also give you a fortuitous encounter that will allow you to break through the limits of this domain's Tao in the future. The blue Qian ice beast said straightforwardly. Sure, but you have to tell me the news first. Given your cultivation level, once the ancient power of the Dragon Emperor is dispelled, the Dragon Emperor seal is gone, and you can fly as high as you want. I don't want to come back. Not only will all my efforts be for naught, you might even be in mortal danger. Qin Yu said indifferently. It seems that we can't trust each other. The blue ice beast said coldly. If it were to tell Qin Yu all the information he knew, then it would be useless. At that time, it would be wishful thinking to expect Qin Yu to let it go. How about this? Let's each take a step back. You tell me where this domain is, and I will disperse the ancient power of the Dragon Emperor in your body. How about that? Qin Yu seemed to have thought for a long time before suggesting such a plan. Sure. The blue Qian ice beast stared at Qin Yu for a while, and finally nodded its head. To it, the power of the monstrous dragon in its body was like the undying will power of the Buddhist region. No matter how it tried to refine it, it could not get rid of it. The blue Qian ice beast knew that this dragon power contained the resentment of the monstrous dragon. The stronger the resentment of the monstrous dragon, the stronger the dragon power. As long as it could disperse this dragon power, it would be difficult to seal it with just this layer of rainbow light. Qin Yu took a step forward. Yuan Qi gathered in his right palm and touched the blue Qian ice beast. Crack, crack. The moment they touched, the Yuan Qi palm froze. When the blue Qian ice beast withdrew its ice power, the Yuan Qi palm returned to normal. Next, dragon blood boiled in Qin Yu's body. Vaguely, a majestic dragon roar could be heard. After a while, the blue Qian ice beast's blue eyes suddenly flashed with a dazzling light. It could clearly feel that the rampaging power of the monstrous dragon in its body was rapidly dissipating. You should tell me where this is. Don't try to lie to me. It won't do you any good. Qin Yu said coldly. If I'm not wrong, this ice castle should be the snow region, where the snow tribe is. Hearing Qin Yu's threat, The blue Qian ice beast's eyes flashed fiercely. Snow region? Snow tribe? Fairy Xuelon? Qin Yu's mind fluctuated. He was rather excited. From the sound of it, this blue Qian ice beast should not be speaking nonsense. Although he did not know if the news was true, at least he had a clue about Fairy Xuelon. Rumble! While Qin Yu was lost in thought, the blue Qian ice beast suddenly went berserk. Violent cold light exploded, freezing the void inch by inch. Even the rainbow light on the broken horn slowed significantly. It looked like it could no longer suppress the blue Qian ice beast. Do you really think I will disperse the ancient power of the Dragon Emperor in your body? Seeing the blue Qian ice beast about to break through the rainbow light seal, Qin Yu's lips curled in a cold smile. Qin Yu could not tell if the blue Qian ice beast was telling the truth. Therefore, he could only use the old method to search its soul. Die! The blue Qian ice beast roared angrily. A ray of blue light pierced through the void and punched a big hole in Qin Yu's body. However, no blood flowed out, and Qin Yu did not seem to notice it. Even his expression did not change. This is the blue Qian ice beast, which was originally incomparably wild and violent with a murderous aura, was suddenly startled when it saw this scene. Immediately, it seemed to have discovered something as its eyes abruptly shrunk to the size of a needle. Have you realized it? Too bad it's too late. This is the thousand layers illusory world. If you had realized it at the beginning, you might have been able to break free. But now, Kiki. Qin Yu, who had a big hole in his chest, laughed eerily. Immediately, the blue Qian ice beast realized that everything in the ancient seal of the mystical dragon had become distorted. Malicious ghosts wreaked havoc, gods descended, and ancient immortals preached. Everything was real and illusory at the same time. The blue Qian ice beast was mesmerized, unable to extricate itself. Fortunately, I did not release the seal to subdue it. Within the ancient seal of the mystical dragon, Qin Yu was relieved to see the blue Qian ice beast in the thousand layers illusory world. Once he had thought of subduing the blue Qian ice beast and released it, even with the ancient power of the Dragon Emperor, it would not be able to suppress the blue Qian ice beast. Fortunately, when the blue Qian ice beast appeared, its attention was on Qin Yu, and it did not notice the thousand layers illusory world. Otherwise, Qin Yu doubted that the thousand layers illusory world that he had seen in the immortal trove could trap the blue Qian ice beast's mind. Fortunately, the blue Qian ice beast was completely subdued. Even if it knew that it was in an illusory world, it could not break free. Chapter 645. The blue ice beast had struggled in the thousand layers illusory world for several months. Only then did it break free from the suppression of the Dragon Emperor's ancient energy and the seven-colored seal. The blue Qian ice beast needed to absorb the frost energy of the frost plane to maintain its cultivation. During this period of time, not only did it not absorb the frost energy, but it also had to suppress the dragon energy in its body and resist the seven-colored seal. It was easy to imagine how much energy the blue ice beast had to consume. If it wasn't for the blue ice beast's strong foundation, it would have collapsed a long time ago. Looking at the blue ice beast's weak aura, Qin Yu pondered for a long time. In the end, he gave up on the idea of using a secret technique to control the blue ice beast. After all, the blue ice beast's cultivation was in the 9th stage of the martial path. Qin Yu wasn't sure if the secret technique he grasped in the heaven domain could control the blue ice beast. If something were to go wrong, then the risk of sneaking into the frost plane this time would be completely wasted. Furthermore, Qin Yu wanted to verify the authenticity of the snow region and snow race that the blue ice beast had told him. Qin Yu immediately activated the Divine Dragon Ancient Seal and used the immortal Ancient Shenren's power to strengthen himself. Shortly after, the Primal Chaos Killing Art and the Immortal Extermination Ancient Diagram appeared and enveloped the blue ice beast. Roar! 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 Even though it was exhausted, the blue Qian ice beast was still able to unleash a terrifying power at the critical juncture of life and death. It was enough to kill a late-stage ancient emperor. However, the blue ice beast's final struggle didn't last long under the combined attacks of the immortal ancient Shinran and the immortal extermination ancient diagram. Finally, the blue ice beast was split into two by the immortal extermination ancient diagram. The beast's soul was suppressed by the immortal ancient Shenron's power. With the beast's soul, Qin Yu didn't have to be so cautious anymore. He directly used his emperor's soul to search the beast's soul. Soon, Qin Yu obtained a large portion of the blue ice beast's memories. However, the divine abilities and secrets of the Blue Qian Ice Beast clan had been destroyed for some reason, and he could not find any of them. Fortunately, Qin Yu also cared a lot about the secret of the Blue Qian Ice Beast. From the Blue Qian Ice Beast's memories, Qin Yu learned that the Blue Qian Ice Beast was originally from the Snow region. As for why it had come to the Heaven region, he still did not know. However, what he had said about Shui Yu and the Snow clan wasn't a lie. The place where Qin Yu had seen Fairy Xuelon in the past was the Snow clan in the Snow region. This made Qin Yu feel relieved. Once the matters in the Tian region were settled, they could go to the Shui region. As for the way to leave the Heaven realm and head to the Outer realm, Qin Yu had already found out from the Blue Qian Ice Beast's memories. Qin Yu even knew the method to cross the 9th stage of the martial Tao. Although it was still extremely difficult to break through the limits of the late ancient Emperor realm, it had given Qin Yu a clear path. Qin Yu was very glad that the Azure Ice Beast hadn't been taken away by Xing Luo and the others. Otherwise, Xing Luo and the others would have most likely obtained the method to cross the 9th stage of the martial Tao. After crushing the Blue Qian Ice Beast's soul and scattering it, Qin Yu extracted the pure bloodline of the Blue Qian Ice Beast. According to the Blue Qian Ice Beast's memories, its clan seemed to be the descendants of a pure divine beast in the Snow region. This was evident from the Blue Qian Ice Beast's disdain for the bloodline of the Dragon Emperor. Therefore, Qin Yu completely extracted the bloodline power of the Blue Qian Ice Beast and sent it into the Primal Chaos Dragon world for the Dragon Souls, the Primal Chaos Ancestor Dragon, and the Golden Flame Heaven Incinerating Dragon to refine. Qin Yu's Eternal Dragon currently had 5 dragons: the Primal Chaos Dragon, the Golden Flame Heaven Incinerating Dragon, the Purple Lightning Heaven Incinerating Dragon, the Bloodthirsty Heavenly Dragon, and the Phantom Illusion Dragon. However, among these 5 dragons, the Bloodthirsty Heavenly Dragon and the Phantom Illusion Dragon had not submitted to Qin Yu. They were only controlled by Qin Yu with the Soul Dragon art. Therefore, Qin Yu only gave the Dragon Souls, the Primal Chaos Ancestor Dragon, the Golden Flame Heaven Incinerating Dragon, and the Purple Lightning Heaven Incinerating Dragon to increase their cultivation and potential. As for the Bloodthirsty Heavenly Dragon and the Phantom Illusion Dragon, Qin Yu no longer needed their battle strength given his current cultivation. Therefore, he directly refined the 2 dragons and merged their dragon blood and dragon bones with the dragon souls. This made the dragon souls' bodies even more sturdy. After absorbing the bloodlines of the Primal Chaos Ancestor Dragon and the Blue Qian Ice Beast, the Dragon Souls, the Golden Flame Heaven Incinerating Dragon, and the Purple Lightning Heaven Incinerating Dragon were all undergoing some kind of transformation. His cultivation was also rising at a speed that could be clearly felt. When they came out of seclusion, they would definitely have improved by more than 1 level. Even the Primal Chaos Ancestor Dragon, who was severely injured after Qin Yu refined the Dragon Vein, had his aura strengthened rapidly. When the Primal Chaos Ancestor Dragon's cultivation recovered to its peak, Qin Yu would have the strength of 2 late-stage ancient emperors. In addition to that, he could also slay late-stage ancient emperors. His strength was even more terrifying. While Qin Yu was refining the blue Qian ice beast to strengthen the cultivation of the dragons in his body, the eastern continent, which seemed calm on the surface, was actually filled with undercurrents. Eastern continent, heavenly immortal cliff, an ancient pavilion. 4 figures had gathered. If the experts of the eastern continent were here, they would be astounded. These 4 figures were the strongest ancient emperors of the eastern continent. Each of them could easily shake the entire eastern continent with a stomp of their feet. Longhu, martial monarch, why have you gathered us here? An old man with a goatee and a robe covered in lightning said coldly. This old man in a thunderous robe was called the Thunderclap Emperor. Among the late-stage ancient emperors in the eastern continent, his strength was ranked in the top 5 and his cultivation was extremely terrifying. I believe all of you have already guessed the reason why I have gathered all of you here. The leader of the 4 was the Dragon Tiger Divine Sect Master, the Dragon Tiger Emperor. He smiled at the Thunderclap Emperor and the other 2. Are you referring to the Sacred Dragon Sect? An imperious-looking man with a crown on his head and a golden robe with dragons on it said with squinted eyes. This dignified man was the Sacred Master of the Royal Sacred Dynasty, the ancient emperor of the Royal Sacred Dynasty. Are all of you not interested in the Sacred Dragon Sect that has occupied the territories of 2 ancient emperors? The Dragon Tiger Emperor laughed eerily. The Sacred Dragon Sect is not to be trifled with. Although we do not know if the 7-star ancient emperor died in the hands of the Sacred Dragon Sect, Emperor God Tian Yuan was indeed killed by them. A young voice sounded. It was a young man with a young face and a sword in his hand. His aura was terrifying. The Heaven-battling God Emperor was the master of the Heaven-battling God Dynasty. Although he looked young, he had lived for 2,000 years. He could be said to be one of the oldest ancient emperors in the eastern continent. Indeed, if he can kill a late-stage ancient emperor with his own strength, why should we provoke him for no reason? The Thunderclap Emperor said indifferently. If the Dragon Tiger Emperor had asked them to discuss the opportunity to reach the limits of the ancient emperor realm, they would be more than happy to do so. However, they were not interested in dealing with the Sacred Dragon Sect. Chapter 646. Hehe, Sacred Dragon Sect expanded rapidly and swallowed 7-star ancient kingdom. Then, they provoked Tianyuan Divine Dynasty and killed Emperor God Tianyuan. They shocked East Continent. The ambition of the person controlling Sacred Dragon Sect is obvious. Do you all think that you can stay out of this? Dragon Tiger Emperor's tone was eerie. Why? Are you sure that the person behind Sacred Dragon Sect is an external force that wants to invade? Ancient Emperor Huangji asked. The Heaven-battling God Emperor also looked at the Dragon Tiger Emperor. I don't know who it is yet. However, after the invasion of the other realms, the spiritual state was unified, and wars broke out in the East Continent. Many late-stage ancient emperors died one after another. From these incidents, it's clear that someone wants to imitate the spiritual state and stir up trouble in the East Continent. Dragon Tiger Emperor said eerily. Ancient Emperor Huangji, Thunderclap Emperor, and Heaven-battling Emperor God looked at each other and felt that what Dragon Tiger Emperor said made sense. At their level, they no longer had much interest in expanding their territory's resources. However, if someone was plotting against them, they would not tolerate it. Therefore, we have to work together to kill Sacred Dragon Sect's ambition. This will warn the external forces not to interfere with East Continent. The Dragon Tiger Emperor hurriedly said. Let's not spread this matter. Let's see if Sacred Dragon Sect has any plans to invade. If they do, the 4 of us will work together to eliminate the person hiding in Sacred Dragon Sect. Thunderclap Emperor said after pondering for a while. Heaven-battling Emperor God and Ancient Emperor Huangji nodded in agreement. They didn't want to recklessly start a fight with a powerful being who could kill a late-stage ancient emperor. That works too. Dragon Tiger Emperor nodded helplessly. At this moment, Dragon Tiger Emperor Mist 7-star Ancient Emperor and Emperor God Tian Yuan. They had gone through life and death situations together, and they had a close relationship. If 7-star Ancient Emperor and Emperor God Tian Yuan were the two of them, they would have worked together. Just as he was thinking this, the Dragon Tiger Emperor's expression suddenly froze. 7-star Ancient Emperor, Emperor God Tian Yuan, Supreme Emperor Qi Yu. Thinking of this, the Dragon Tiger Emperor couldn't help but have a horrifying thought. In the 9 continents of the Heaven Domain, the fights between the major forces had never stopped, and the fall of ancient emperors was a common occurrence. However, the death of a late-stage ancient emperor was something that had never happened even during the foreign invasions. In normal times, it would be even rarer. But now, in a short period of time, 3 late ancient emperors had perished. More importantly, these 3 people were the ones who had ambushed the dragon god Emperor Qin Yu in the immortal god graveyard 1,000 years ago. Could they be? Impossible. His soul had already dissipated 1,000 years ago. There's no way it's him. Although the Dragon Tiger Emperor tried his best to deny it, this thought still lingered in his mind. This caused the Dragon Tiger Emperor to feel even more uneasy. Eastern Continent, Holy Dragon Sect, Imperial City. Master, you're finally back. Hearing the commotion in the transfer hall, Pam Hong and Taishu Kong immediately flew over. Qin Yu had left for several months. This caused Pan Hong and Pan Yu to be extremely worried. Did anything happen during this time? Qin Yu was in a good mood, as he had not only tricked Xing Luo and the others, but also obtained the location of Fairy Shuelong. Nothing happened in the sect, but Master, we received a piece of news. Pam Hong said. What news? Qin Yu asked casually. The immemorial immortal ruin has appeared in the Western continent, Taishu Kong said solemnly. Immemorial immortal ruin? Qin Yu's footsteps paused. No wonder Pam Hong and Taishu Kong were so serious. This was because the method to remove the curse on Long Hao required the immemorial immortal soul. After searching for so long, it finally appeared. Where is the immemorial immortal ruin in the Western continent? Qin Yu's eyes flashed with a bright light. This is the detailed address. However, although the immemorial immortal ruin has appeared several times, it hasn't completely stabilized yet. The news of the immortal ruin's appearance has already spread, and countless experts will gather there. Pam Hong quickly handed an ancient map to Qin Yu. I'm going to the Western continent. You guys continue to stay in the Imperial City. If there are any invaders during this period, retreat immediately. Feather took the map and immediately teleported away after giving the order. Pam Hong and Taishu Kong had already prepared several teleportation portals to the Western continent. After teleporting several times, Qin Yu arrived at the Western continent. The Western continent was the place where thousands of monsters resided. There were all kinds of monsters here. In addition, monster cultivators with monster bloodlines also appeared in the Western continent. Human martial artists were rarely seen. As for the human race cultivators, they were all Emperor Realm cultivators. Otherwise, if an ordinary human were to appear here, they would most likely be devoured in an instant, leaving not even their bones behind. The thousands of monsters in the Western continent were already fighting among themselves, let alone creatures of other races. However, during this period of time, in the central region of the Western continent, the Monster Emperor's Divine Mountain that stretched for millions of miles, countless human martial artists had gathered. There were even the descendants of the god tribes in the Divine Land that were extremely rare. Dizong's Serpent Emperor, Three-Eyed Demon Wolf King, Thousand-Eyed Ghost Spider Emperor, Divine Beast, Heavenly Dog King, Six-Winged Frost Centipede. After Qin Yu arrived, he glanced around and saw many famous monsters in the Western continent. Each of them had a powerful background and their cultivation was extremely shocking. However, what Qin Yu was looking for was not them, but, they're here. Suddenly, Qin Yu's eyes narrowed and fell on a figure. It was a middle-aged man who was 30 feet tall and wearing a royal robe. Although this person was in the shape of a human, the soaring monster qi on his body was undoubtedly revealed. He was a peerless monster. This transformed monster was one of Qin Yu's enemies in his previous life, Monster Saint Wang Di. He was also Qin Yu's only enemy in the Western continent. A cold, murderous intent flashed in Qin Yu's eyes. Since he had come to the Western continent this time, Qin Yu naturally did not mind killing Monster Saint Wang Di when he had the chance, so that he would not come to the Western continent to seek revenge in the future. Now that the chaotic dragon tribe had absorbed the bloodline of the Azure Ice Beast, their Yuan Qi had recovered by more than half. Their combat strength was comparable to a late-stage ancient emperor, together with the ancestor demon statue and Qin Yu himself. 3 against 1. As long as Qin Yu encountered Monster Saint Wang Di, there was absolutely no chance of survival. Of course, at this time, Qin Yu still did not act rashly. Other than the various monsters in the Western continent, many of the other continents in the Heaven Domain, even the descendants of the god tribes in the Divine Land, who had never interfered in external affairs, had come. Qin Yu did not reveal his strength yet. As time passed, the news of the appearance of the immortals spread like wildfire. More and more people gathered at the venue. Many late-stage ancient emperors who had been in seclusion appeared. Chapter 647. Rumble. On this day, it was accompanied by a series of thunderous booms. Layers of dark clouds gathered in the core region of the Shifter Emperor's divine mountain, covering the sky and the sun. Thunder rumbled and thunder rumbled. An extremely terrifying aura spread out, suppressing the heavens and the earth. Even an existence at the level of an ancient emperor would feel fear and trepidation in the face of such a vast pressure. It was as if an immortal spirit from the primordial era was coming back to life in the rumbling thunder. The immortals are about to appear. Countless cultivators gathered around the Shifter Emperor's divine mountain. When they saw the increasingly powerful thunder and the terrifying aura, they were all shocked. Even the ancient emperors were the same. In other words, compared to the emperor realm, the ancient emperors valued the opportunity of the immortals more. They all hoped to obtain the opportunity to make a breakthrough in their stagnant cultivation. On the other hand, the peak late-stage ancient emperors were unaffected. Various ancient ruins would often appear in the 9 provinces of the Heaven Domain. Naturally, they had explored countless ruins and encountered various opportunities. However, an opportunity that could help them break through the limits of the ancient emperor realm had never appeared before. Therefore, although they were looking forward to it, their emotions were not as strong as before. Rumble. Accompanied by a thunderous explosion, 1,000-foot large divine thunder suddenly struck the Shifter Emperor's divine mountain from the rumbling thunder. But strangely, the Shifter Emperor's divine mountain was not destroyed. This was because, at the place where the 1,000-foot large divine thunder struck, a stone door that was tens of thousands of feet tall had appeared out of nowhere. The 1,000-foot large divine thunder struck like a bell, causing a crack to appear on the stone door. However, divine lightning continued to descend from the sky, bombarding the sacred gate without stopping. The crack on the stone door grew bigger and bigger, and finally, it opened completely. Immediately, a burst of colorful immortal light bloomed from behind the stone door. This is immortal qi. It is indeed a pure immortal aura. There must be a supreme immortal opportunity in the immortals' world. Feeling the power of the immortal light, the countless cultivators gathered around were extremely excited. They rushed toward the stone door in a frenzy. The scene was so magnificent that it was like 10,000 swords returning to their home. That said, not everyone rushed out immediately. Although the ancient emperors were agitated, they did not move. They just stood there quietly, waiting for the stone door. Qin Yu naturally didn't rush out. Qin Yu sensed that the stone door contained an extremely terrifying restriction that had yet to disperse. If he rashly barged in now, even his life might be in danger. As for those who rushed in first, they would have to be lucky enough to come back alive. Puff puff puff, as expected, the people who rushed over were all shocked. Regardless of whether they were from the demon clan or the human clan, the moment they passed through the stone door, they were crushed into a bloody pulp by an invisible force. Their souls were completely destroyed. This scene caused the fanatical expressions of the warriors, who were charging at the back to be doused with a bucket of cold water. All of them were terrified to the point their souls almost left their bodies. They were like a pack of startled beasts, and they immediately fled in all directions. No one dared approach the stone door again. Whoosh! However, at this moment, a whistling sword light appeared. Qin Yu's expression changed. He focused his gaze and saw a figure rush into the stone door like a bolt of lightning. The invisible force of the stone door seemed to be immune to the figure, allowing him to barge in unscathed. This scene made the ancient emperors who had been watching coldly from the sidelines unable to sit still. They all moved toward the stone door. They had thought that no one would be able to pass through the stone door, which was why they had waited calmly. However, now that someone had entered, they naturally could not remain calm. Judging from the aura of the immortal world, there might really be an ancient immortal's opportunity from the immortal ancient era. Sky Burier Sword Saint. Qin Yu also gradually approached, but there was a strange look in his eyes. The sword-light figure who had barged into the stone door was Sky Burier Sword Saint. However, Sky Burier Sword Saint's cultivation was clearly a level higher than when they had met in the extraterrestrial demon clan's Forbidden Land. Although he had not reached his peak, he was already comparable to an ordinary late-stage ancient emperor. He did not know if it was because the immortal technique he had obtained was too outstanding or because he had obtained a powerful opportunity in the extraterrestrial demon clan's Forbidden Land. However, Qin Yu could see why Sky Burier Sword Saint had been able to pass through the stone door unscathed. This was because Sky Burier Sword Saint's immortal chi fluctuations had offset the restrictive force of the stone door. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, at this moment, there were already ancient emperors who had lost their patience and went forward to test the stone door. In the end, a mid-stage ancient emperor was severely injured, and several early-stage ancient emperors were directly destroyed by the restrictive force of the stone door. Even a late-stage ancient emperor could not withstand it and was forced to retreat. This scene caused the gathered cultivators to be even more shocked. If even a late-stage ancient emperor could not barge in, then what kind of existence was that sword light that had barged in earlier? Whoosh! At this moment, Qin Yu's figure flashed and rushed toward the stone door like a bolt of lightning. The surrounding martial artists who did not dare to try again looked over. Ancient Battle Dragon Art. The moment Qin Yu stepped through the stone door, he immediately felt a terrifying immortal force restriction pressing down on him from all directions. It was as if it was going to crush him completely. It was no wonder that those who had entered earlier had all exploded and died. Not even a complete corpse was left behind. However, Qin Yu did not panic at all. He immediately activated the ancient battle dragon art. A faint dragon roar came from his body, and the battle dragon true origin swept out. In an instant, the immortal force restriction that had been pressing down on Qin Yu seemed to have come into contact with something terrifying and immediately dispersed. With a flash, Qin Yu's figure disappeared behind the deep abyss-like stone door. What's going on? He went in too? What did he do just now? I didn't see it, but there must be some trick. Otherwise, it would be impossible for so many people to barge in continuously. Qin Yu's intrusion caused the tens of thousands of martial artists that were originally planning to continue watching to burst into an uproar once again. If one more person entered, it meant that the treasures inside would be divided up. That true origin fluctuation just now, while the gathered martial artists were in an uproar. Demon Saint Wang Di, who had a solemn expression, had a strong look of surprise in his eyes. Just now, he had sensed the battle dragon true origin from Qin Yu's body, which had not appeared for thousands of years. In the entire heaven domain, only one person could use the battle dragon true origin, and that was the Dragon God Emperor, who had ruled the heaven domain in the past. However, the Dragon God Emperor had died in the immortal god graveyard long ago. How could the person who had appeared now have the battle dragon true origin fluctuation on him? Could it be that he had obtained the legacy of the Dragon God Emperor? Thinking of this, Demon Saint Wang Di's eyes became even more strange. Compared to the opportunities in the immortal world, he was more interested in the legacy of the Dragon God Emperor. Chapter 648. Back then, the Dragon God Emperor was the existence closest to the limit of the ancient emperor in the entire sky domain. Judging from the battle prowess of the Dragon God Emperor, it was very likely that he had reached the limit of the ancient emperor. After all, in the battle of the graveyard of the immortal god, the 13 ancient emperors had joined forces to set up a monstrous killing array, and each of them had the battle prowess of an ancient emperor. Even so, the Dragon God Emperor had almost turned the tables and escaped. This showed how strong the Dragon God Emperor was in the past. At this time, Qin Yu, who had entered the stone door, appeared in a gray world. In the gray world, there were various ancient buildings of various colors. However, they were all in tatters, full of the baptism of time. Far away in the distance, within the gray mist, there was a colossal creature that had appeared. After Qin Yu took a closer look, he found that it was a huge ancient city. The city was tens of thousands of feet high, like a giant beast that covered the sky, and gave people a great sense of oppression. Qin Yu flew over and found that although the city had not collapsed, the buildings in the city were also in the same state. Most of them had collapsed and were dilapidated. Chirp chirp. Qin Yu was sensing the fluctuation of the immortal qi in the ancient immortal ruins when a familiar chirp sounded. Qin Yu was stunned, and then he flicked his finger, and a purple divine light appeared. It was the baby immortal phoenix. However, the baby immortal phoenix used to be chubby and only the size of a palm. Now it was 5 feet tall, and purple light flowed all over its body. Its eyes contained supreme divine power, and it gave people a sense of oppression. This baby immortal phoenix was gradually leaving its infancy stage. It is already at the peak of the emperor realm. Seeing that the baby immortal phoenix had awakened from its seclusion and reached the peak of the emperor realm, Qin Yu could not help but be amazed. It was worthy of being a pure descendant of a divine beast. Its talent was simply too terrifying. Chirp chirp. After the young immortal phoenix appeared, it rubbed against Qin Yu in an extremely intimate manner. Then, it spread out its wings and carried Qin Yu. It turned into a purple light and flew toward the depths of the ancient immortal ruins. Qin Yu stood steadily on the young immortal phoenix. He didn't know why the young immortal phoenix, which had already reached the peak of the emperor realm, was still unable to speak. But Qin Yu had a contract with the young immortal phoenix, so he could understand what the young immortal phoenix meant. The young immortal phoenix sensed an extremely strong immortal energy fluctuation in that direction. The immortal energy fluctuation was even more terrifying than the immortal energy restriction at the entrance. However, the strange thing was that Qin Yu, who had already reached the ancient emperor realm, did not sense anything. This made Qin Yu extremely surprised. Logically speaking, his cultivation level was far above the infant immortal phoenix's, so he shouldn't have been unaware. The immortal phoenix cub's speed was comparable to the ancient emperor's. After flying for an incense stick's worth of time, they stopped at an ancient palace. Outside the palace there were 8 ancient yin-yang altars. They formed an 8 trigrams formation and protected the palace. 8th stage of divine heaven. I see. After taking a look, Qin Yu finally understood why he couldn't sense the immortal energy fluctuation. Because these 8 altars were the famous divine formations of the immortal ancient era. Each altar was equivalent to a heaven and earth. When the altars were stacked, they formed 8 heavens and earth. It was impossible for ordinary people to sense the immortal energy fluctuation in the palace through 8 heavens. Thinking of this, Qin Yu couldn't help but look in surprise at the young immortal phoenix, who was staring at the palace excitedly. Under such restrictions, the young immortal phoenix could actually sense the immortal energy fluctuation. His perception was simply too astonishing. Could this be the remarkable power of the immortal phoenix tribe? Chirp chirp. After bringing Qin Yu to the palace, the young immortal phoenix kept rubbing against Qin Yu, trying to get Qin Yu to break the 8 heavenly restrictions. Obviously, although the young immortal phoenix could sense it, it didn't have enough power to break the divine formation of the immortal ancient era. Qin Yu smiled, and the runes on his palm flickered, and the spiritual array disc appeared. Then, dragon roars resounded, and an 8 trigrams divine seal appeared on Qin Yu's palm. It was the battle dragon 8 trigrams seal. Qin Yu had seen the 8 heavenly divine formations in the immortal treasury before. Although he didn't master it, he had some understanding of how to break it. Crack! After a few dozen breaths, the 8 trigrams divine seal on Qin Yu's palm trembled, and a corner of the 8 heavenly restrictions was broken by Qin Yu. He could clearly sense that the restrictive pressure of the 8-layer divine heaven array had dropped by several levels. Crack, crack, then, Qin Yu followed suit, and the other 7 altars were also broken one by Qin Yu. Finally, the ancient divine palace appeared in front of Qin Yu and the young immortal phoenix. As the 8 heavenly restrictions were broken, the divine palace contained a monstrous immortal power, and like a ferocious beast that had been released from its cage, it soared into the sky and swept across the sky. Whoosh! A purple light flashed, and the young immortal phoenix immediately rushed into the divine palace. Qin Yu took a step forward, and followed closely behind the young immortal phoenix. The divine palace was filled with strands of chaotic qi, and each strand of chaotic qi contained a little immortal qi. Roar! Sensing the chaotic qi, the chaotic ancestor dragon in the chaotic dragon realm let out a dragon roar. Qin Yu was startled. Soon after, with an intention, an extremely frightening devouring power appeared. All the chaotic qi in the divine palace was sucked into his body, and sent directly into the chaotic dragon realm for the chaotic ancestor dragon to absorb and refine. At this time, the young immortal phoenix that had entered the divine palace came before a statue that was holding a jade bottle. The statue was covered with mysterious immortal runes, and it emitted a vast immortal power. Qin Yu looked at the statue with a serious expression. The statue gave Qin Yu the feeling that it was not a dead object, but an ancient immortal that looked down from the 9 heavens. Its eyes were indifferent, as if it was looking at an ant. This sort of feeling caused Qin Yu to feel extremely uncomfortable. He frowned and immediately activated the ancient battle dragon art. The immortal power that the statue gave Qin Yu immediately disappeared, and when he looked at it again, it was an ordinary statue. The young immortal phoenix did not seem to be affected by the immortal power of the statue. It flapped its wings and flew into the jade bottle in the statue's hand. Immediately, multicolored celestial light bloomed from the jade bottle. Qin Yu could clearly see that the immortal light that had appeared had all entered the young immortal phoenix's body, causing the young immortal phoenix's body to undergo some kind of rapid transformation. The young immortal phoenix originally had the innate divine power of a divine beast, and now, after the immortal light had entered its body, the innate divine power it emitted became even more terrifying and shocking. Seeing that the young immortal phoenix seemed to be unable to refine the colorful immortal light in a short time, Qin Yu wandered around the divine palace. Although the immortal might emitted by that divine statue no longer possessed the slightest bit of pressure toward Qin Yu, this divine palace was still filled with an extremely frightening immortal might. This meant that there must be places in the divine palace where the fluctuations of immortal power were hidden. Qin Yu searched the divine palace. Chapter 649. After venturing deeper into the palace, Qin Yu came to a stop in front of a mural. That mural was carved. The content of the mural was that of 9 deities fighting against a single immortal. The immortal figure's appearance was blurred. It seemed to be a woman surrounded by an immortal glow and immortal music. However, her eyes were extremely cold, as if she was looking down on all living things. The 9 deities consisted of humans, beasts, and demons. Even though they came in different shapes and sizes, their god force was surging, and their abilities were enough to suppress the world. The ancient deities and deities fought against one another, causing the heavens and earth to crumble and the people to perish. The mural seemed to contain some kind of power. Although it was only a painting, when one looked at it, it was as if one had personally witnessed the world-ending battle, and one's soul faintly showed signs of being torn into pieces. Luckily, Qin Yu immediately executed the ancient battle dragon art to nullify the terrifying power. However, even though the ancient battle dragon art had nullified the power, Qin Yu still had the same feeling when he looked at the mural again. In other words, even though the ancient battle dragon art was able to nullify the power of the mural, it was unable to suppress the immortal aura directly like the statue. It was obvious that the immortal aura contained in the mural was significantly stronger than the statue. Is this real? After looking at it with rapt attention for a long time, Qin Yu finally managed to see some clues from the mural. The mural was not carved, but a powerful being who had suppressed the immortal shadows and deities of the great battle and turned them into the mural. Qin Yu was dumbfounded. Without a doubt, the immortal figure was most likely an ancient deity from the immortal ancient era. The power of the 9 deities was extraordinary too. It had surpassed the power of the ancient deities. If Qin Yu was not mistaken, the battle had taken place between the late stage of the ancient deities and the early stage of the deities. Qin Yu once read in the ancient records that the heavenly Tao had undergone a great change during the immortal ancient era. It was no longer possible to become an immortal through the immortal path. Since then, the God path was born, and the deities defeated the immortals, ending the immortal ancient era. That was a glorious era where all Daos could become deities. It was also a chaotic era where ancient immortals fell and deities lost their lives. However, what really shocked Qin Yu was the person who had sealed the immortal shadow and the 9 deities into the mural. What kind of cultivation would it take to suppress an ancient immortal and 9 gods of the primordial era and turn them into murals and carve them in the palace? Thinking of this, Qin Yu could not help but look at the divine statue where the infant immortal phoenix was. Could it be that the divine statue was responsible for this? After pondering for a long time, Qin Yu discarded all the messy thoughts in his mind. His eyes flickered. Since there was an ancient immortal sealed in the mural, perhaps Qin Yu did not need to go elsewhere to find the immortal soul he needed. More importantly, Qin Yu had already seen the abnormality of this mural. It should not be difficult to crack the seal of this mural. Immediately, Qin Yu began to study the way to crack the seal. Time passed slowly as Qin Yu studied the way to crack the seal and the infant immortal phoenix's transformation. Swoosh! Swoosh! After a few hours, Qin Yu's ears twitched slightly. He heard the sound of something breaking through the air. There was a powerful fluctuation of Tao skills. It seemed that the restriction at the entrance of the immortal world had completely dissipated. The martial artists who had gathered at the entrance had probably entered. In the next moment, a group of demonic cultivators with towering demonic chi entered the palace. This symbol? Qin Yu turned around and looked at the demonic cultivators who had entered. His eyes flashed coldly. The symbol on their clothes was the demonic cultivators of the Demon King Holy Sect, the overlord of the West Continent. The Demon King Holy Sect was the force established by demon sage Wang Di in the West Continent. Qin Yu did not expect that the people of the Demon King Holy Sect would come knocking on his door before he had even gone to look for demon sage Wang Di. Second Elder, that is, Divine Beast, Immortal Phoenix? Look at its terrifying aura. It must be a pure-blooded descendant of a divine beast. After the demonic cultivators of the Demon King Holy Sect entered, their attention immediately fell on the infant Immortal Phoenix. After all, the infant Immortal Phoenix's divine beast aura had an innate suppressive effect on the demonic bloodline of the demonic cultivators. It made them feel extremely uneasy. Of course, after confirming that it was indeed a divine beast, the demonic cultivators of the Demon King Holy Sect were ecstatic. A pure-blooded descendant of a divine beast was no less than an opportunity for them. As long as they could refine their bodies with the Immortal Phoenix's bloodline and absorb the power of the Immortal Phoenix's bloodline, their demonic bloodline would undergo a qualitative transformation. At that time, regardless of whether it was their cultivation or their potential, they would undergo a tremendous change, as if they had been reborn. A human? There's actually someone who arrived before us. Could this person be one of the two who entered the immortal world first? Second Elder, look at that mural. That seems to be what the Demon Emperor is looking for. That's great. It was only at this moment that the demonic cultivators of the Demon King Holy Sect noticed Qin Yu's presence. After they sized up Qin Yu, intense killing intent emerged in their eyes that were surging with demonic aura. In the 9 continents of the Heaven Domain, the human race not only occupied the Middle Continent, which was the most resource-rich continent, but also the other 8 continents, except for the West Continent. This was why the demonic cultivators of the West Continent were extremely hostile towards the human race. Moreover, the Demon King Holy Sect was the first to enter the immortal world. The only ones who had entered before them were the 2 who had used some unknown method to enter the immortal world first. Moreover, the mural was a treasure that the Demon Emperor had ordered them to find. It seemed like the mural contained the opportunity to enter the immortal world. At the thought of this, the demonic cultivators of the Demon King Holy Sect were filled with killing intent. There was a mid-stage ancient emperor and 3 early-stage ancient emperors in their group. With such a lineup, they could easily suppress an early-stage ancient emperor. A cold smile appeared on Qin Yu's face as the sky-splitting divine spear appeared in his hands. Immediately, Qin Yu walked towards the demonic cultivators of the Demon King Holy Sect. With every step Qin Yu took, profound formation runes appeared on the ground. The formation runes spread out and covered the entire palace hall in an instant. He sealed himself here? When the demonic cultivators of the Demon King Holy Sect saw Qin Yu sealing the hall, a look of confusion appeared in their eyes. Qin Yu was clearly in a disadvantageous position. Yet, why did it seem like he wanted to catch them all in one fell swoop? Whoosh! Suddenly Qin Yu moved. He turned into a ray of divine light and charged towards the demonic cultivators of the Demon King Holy Sect. Wherever he passed, the void trembled. Kill. When the demonic cultivators of the Demon King Holy Sect saw this, they didn't care about what Qin Yu wanted to do. Since Qin Yu didn't want to escape, they were happy to oblige. In an instant, demonic qi filled the air as the demonic cultivators of the Demon King Holy Sect charged towards Qin Yu. Originally, they were in human form, but they had more or less demonic characteristics. This was a sign that their demonic bloodline was pushed to the extreme. Clearly, they were going all out to kill Qin Yu. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.